about that. I know that he testified about Lynch when he was spreading the, shall we say, the joy. His last appearance, I thought his objective was to indict members of both parties during his testimony so that he would not be accused of being one-sided in his testimony against Trump. And he said something, it might have been that, where he was troubled by something Loretta Lynch said or asked him to do. Yes, he said that Loretta Lynch asked him to not use the word investigation in talking about the Hillary matter, that instead she asked him to call it a matter. And he said he was highly troubled by this. This Washington Post story on May 24th and the column today I cited in the first hour by Holman Jenkins in the Wall Street Journal is about something entirely different. Now, your memory may be good. He might have said at some point in connection with this that he had asked her about this document, and all she did was stare at him and tell him to get out of her office. That may have happened. I have a vague memory of that myself. But since you brought this up, let me briefly, if you just joined us, you know what this is about. So let me briefly touch on it. There's a column in the Wall Street Journal that I found last night, that either ran yesterday or runs today, by Holman Jenkins. And he claims that what is going on now with the special counsel and virtually everything else is a cover-up, is being manufactured in order to disguise what really happened here in terms of Russian meddling in the election. And it is his theory that the Russian meddling in the election is an email document that was sent to the FBI that said Loretta Lynch was cooperating with the Hillary campaign and was assuring the Hillary campaign that nothing would come of this investigation. It is reportedly a fake document created by the Russians that Comey believed. And that is where the embarrassment here resides. Comey, after getting the document, realized that Loretta Lynch was compromised. She could not publicly clear him with this. She could not announce the investigation was over, because here was a document claiming she'd already told him about that. So the theory is that Comey decided to take over since Loretta was tainted, and he called a July 5th press conference and listed Hillary's crimes, and then said he wasn't going to prosecute because no reasonable person would, because they couldn't find any intent, yada, 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 and then announced the case was closed. And it's the theory of the columnist in the Journal that this is the prime example of Russian meddling that did affect events that could have resulted in Trump winning the election. But it's not Trump collusion. It's not Trump associates collusion with the Russians. It's the Russians bamboozling the FBI. I should say bamboozling Comey, because the story is that many in the FBI thought it was fake. Some think it's real. Some thought it was fake. FBI did. Comey thought it was real and acted as though it was real. And here's a little add-on. Let's go back to this epic 7,000-word story in the Washington Post Friday, which talked about Obama's brave struggle to figure out how to punish the Russians for tampering in our election, or to figure out how to stop it. And remember, the upshot of the story was that Obama did nothing. He didn't do a thing. He let it happen. And all that he did was, in December, expel 35 Russian diplomats. It prints out 36 pages. On page 25, the printed Washington Post story is the little paragraph: no evidence has ever been found to prove the Russians tampered with a single vote or manipulated the count in any way, shape, or form. There's nothing there. But you know what is not mentioned in that 7,000-word story?
Very helpful.
You know what else is not mentioned? Let me be precise. Nowhere in the Post's story is Obama presented with evidence or described as worried about Trump colluding with Russia. That 7,000-word Washington Post story that prints
Good
for 36
afternoon,
pages
stereo searching.
is singularly focused on the Russians and what they were doing to tamper with the election. This is a very noteworthy observation in all.
I'm listening. Okay, that may or may not be related. It sounds like a separate problem, which is a known problem with this particular design. And while I have it here, I will try to make sure that that doesn't reoccur for you. I appreciate your added input. Correct. Okay, in a past conversation, I alluded to somebody stealing my work, and that work has to do with um, alleviating the symptom which you just described. Except they didn't do the whole thing. They did whatever was easiest for them. So, um, because they didn't do the whole thing, that's why you're intermittently getting that problem. And there's a half-assed way. So I've already put your item back together. There's a half-assed way of having your item together or me possibly correcting that. It's not the real way, but since you're not paying for this, I don't feel like taking it apart and working for free. So I'm gonna, no, there's an external way that I can possibly alleviate this. It's not the right way, but I appreciate the additional input. Thanks. Okay, bye. Good afternoon, stereo searching. We're getting there, Richard. I'm just inundated. You're gonna have to bring me a bottle of wine or something for all my troubles. Um, so I'm right in the middle, and I know I promised you I would be on the bench 2 days ago. I'm right in the middle. I've got this $20,000 amplifier from Czechoslovakia part, and that's kind of like taking all my focus at this time. But we're moving forward. Maybe today. It depends on how this amplifier goes. It's from Czechoslovakia, crazy stuff I got here. I'll let you know. Bye. You too. Right now, it depends on how this freaking amplifier goes. Very carefully. When they're running 550 volts in this power supply, number one, yes, you do. Oh no, you don't. Oh, fuck. You know what? I don't like this at all. This is good for you. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. How'd you like to be me? How'd you like to be me?
Have you actually put the combined? You told her she's not going to be prosecuted? And Lynch gave him a steely stare and told him to leave the office. And that's when Comey said, uh-oh. DOJ's compromised. I have to go out there and close this case. On July 5th, the president That's a timeline. Here's Dennis, Albuquerque, New Mexico. Great to have you, sir. How are you doing?
Hi, thanks, Rush. Yeah, a while back on PBS, there was a biographer doing the history, discussing the history of Hillary Clinton. And what he said was that when Hillary was young, she wanted to be a beauty queen, but she wasn't pretty enough. So she decided to go for power, politics, but she has no charisma, as we all know. So that's why she latched on to Bill Clinton, because he has charisma. She knew from the get-go that he was a womanizer, and now we understand why she didn't ditch him when he did that with the intern in the White House. Here he's doing adultery with a White House intern while his young daughter Chelsea's there. That doesn't even compare with what somebody said.
That's
like what Donald Trump said is normal boy talk. Most normal men at one time or another have talked or do talk like that. That's nothing.
Yeah, but it's not presidential, they're saying. But I get your point. Here's Clinton actually stooping interns in the Oval Office, in the bathroom of the Oval Office, defacing cigars at the same time, getting semen on a blue dress, lying to his wife about it, who probably knows about it from the get-go, as you say. And here comes Trump tweeting a bunch of things, and you think it's the end of civilization and the end of the presidency. The same people bitching about Trump defended Clinton, and to this day defend Clinton. It's a good point. Dennis, thank you much. So much I want to get in here. A.B. Stoddard was on CNN happening now. No, this is Fox happening. Well, John Scott that's Fox. Doesn't matter. She was on TV today, and she was asked, have you heard about the president's tweets? Have you heard about these? What do you make of the president's tweets about MSNBC, Scarborough, and Mika?
President Obama's base didn't like Rush Limbaugh and all the things he said about him for 8 years, but they expected him to do his job and not get obsessed with fits of vindictive pique over everything that Rush Limbaugh said about him.
Oh, AB, I'm sorry, ma'am, but you're wrong. Obama was bothered for all 8 years. AB, do me a favor, look this up. You're not going to trust me. 2 weeks after Obama's inaugurated, he has a meeting of the Joint Leadership of Congress in the Oval Office or somewhere in the White House. And he's got Boehner there, he's got McConnell, and he's got Democrat counterparts. He's got a bunch of people from the Senate House leadership, both parties. And he looked at John Boehner. Boehner told me this 2 weeks later, but it made the news. He looked at Boehner and he said, you've got to stop listening to Rush Limbaugh. That's not how things are going to get done here now. And Boehner told me this 2 weeks later, even though I had known it. Boehner looked at me and said, why would he say this to us? I said, Mr. Speaker, are you serious? You know why he would say that? No, why would he say this to us? It's our first meeting with him. I say he was hoping that, they've got microphones out there. When you guys finish a meeting, you walk to the microphone, you tell everybody what happened. He was hoping that one of you would walk out there and agree with him. That it's a new day, and that the rambling voices like Rush Limbaugh, we can't afford to be governed by. Yeah, that's what he was hoping for. I mean, there were numerous instances throughout all 8 years where Obama made plain his irritation with me. What you won't find, AB, is any response from me about it, other than to tell people he said it. That's the difference.
Stay tuned for more of the most influential person on the right, Rush, on the EIB Network. WTIC News Talk 1080.
Your brain is an amazing thing, but as you get older, it naturally begins to change, causing a lack of sharpness or even trouble with recall. Thankfully, the breakthrough in Prevagen helps your brain and actually improves memory. The secret is an ingredient originally discovered in jellyfish. In clinical trials, Prevagen has been shown to improve short-term memory. Prevagen, the name to remember, now available in stores everywhere. Statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
How's that kitchen remodel coming along?
I haven't found a reliable contractor and have no idea where to start.
What about Home Advisor?
Home what?
Home Advisor. They match you to pre-screened and top-rated pros for any kind of home project. You can even check pricing and book appointments online.
What's the catch?
No catch. Home Advisor is completely free to use.
Really? I'll check it out. Go to homeadvisor.com or download the free app.
Keep WTIC News Talk 1080 with you all summer long for the information you need. Weather forecasts from Joe Fury and the WTIC weather team help you plan your summertime activities. Taking a trip, traffic reports with Mike Allen, Jerry Griswold, and Mark Christopher will get you there without the hassle. Plus, up-to-the-minute news reports twice an hour. Keep us with you all summer long, because when you're on vacation, we're not. WTIC, News Talk 1080, and WTIC.com.
I'm CBS Friday. Put your trust in MacGyver. What are you doing? Improvising. One part genius.
Splitting the water molecule into oxygen and hydrogen.
How do you know all this?
I watched a lot of YouTube videos.
One part hero.
If anybody can figure this out on his own, it's back. I have an idea.
100% unstoppable.
Can't stop me now. When things go wrong, he's the only one I trust to figure things out.
I will keep you home. That's a promise.
MacGyver, CBS Friday. Or stream it live or on demand. Your weekly horoscope. Aries, expect a crazy week. Talking things over with a friend or business partner can help you stay focused. Taurus, even though you can see where people may be going wrong, you're still not an expert on advice. Gemini, when you feel like jumping ship on a project, keep your head down and stick to it. Cancer, this week, work matters and career concerns should be your top priority. Leo, apply your energy towards helping others. It's a good week to do some volunteering. And Virgo, if you're looking for someone for some romance, this is a good week to keep your eyes open. The rest of your horoscopes are coming up soon. Right here. Sleep, not now.
The WTIC News team covers Connecticut and reports on the local stories that affect you.
Some ability of Democrats and Republican members of the Senate and the House to get together on a budget, I think, is an important step to take.
The insurance company says it picked New York City because the city is a knowledge economy hub and a driver of innovations.
Get local news at the top and bottom of every hour around the clock. Only on WTIC, News Talk 1080, and WTIC.com.
It is the fastest 3 hours in media. We
to
have
see
1 hour to
how
go. We got a guest host tomorrow. Who is it tomorrow? Mark Belling will be here tomorrow. And then we have the 4th of July movie break. And we'll be back here on Wednesday. But by the time Monday comes along, my self-worth is going to be so diminished that I might even call staff say, can we work Monday? No, don't worry. I know you've already made plans to get out of here, so...
Vacation time means driving the highways and byways of the Nutmeg State. Hey, ready for the long drive ahead? Of course, we all know that summer means construction, and that means delays to make your head spin. Well, you can avoid the mess. Just tune in to WTIC for Jerry Griswold, Mike Allen, and Mark Christopher. Weekday mornings and afternoons on the 8s to make that drive a bit more pleasant. So put the top down and crank up those tunes. Just remember to preset on AM 1080 for all the traffic info you need. WTIC AM 1080 and online at WTIC.com. Preset 1080 for Connecticut's News Talk with traffic and weather together on the 8s. This is WTIC and WTIC HD Hartford.
2 o'clock, Hartford temperature 79 degrees.
This is WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, a simulcast of WTIC News Talk 1080.
Meteorologist Sam Sanperry has our forecast details coming up. House Democratic leaders have put out a new 2-year budget proposal. Among other things, it provides cities and towns with additional revenue options, increases the state sales tax to 6.99%, and streamlines state governments. The General Assembly, of course, has been hamstrung in trying to get a budget voted on by the beginning of the fiscal year on Saturday. A letter to the governor today indicates the hope is they can vote on the package on July 18th. Well, lawmakers have been at the Capitol today caucusing. Senator Len Fasano says his caucus has created budget plans in the past.
We should be having this debate in the chamber where people vote what they think is in their best interest, not what the way that the speaker is running the show.
Alluding to Speaker Joe Arasimowicz there. After 164 years in Hartford, insurance giant Aetna will move Cadillac's corporate headquarters to New York in late 2018. The move involves 250 current and new jobs. The nation's third largest health insurer is still expected to keep around 5,000 positions in Connecticut. University of Hartford economics professor Farhad Rasek was asked if it's fair to blame Connecticut policymakers for the relocation.
Yes, it is fair, but but the policies are not the only reason that we are moving out.
Aetna says its long-term commitment to Connecticut will depend on the state's economic health and reforms needed to make Hartford a vibrant city once again. Beneath the dignity of the presidency, that's what some Republican and Democratic lawmakers are calling President Trump's latest Twitter rant. This one with remarks on a pair of MSNBC hosts, Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski. Saying the two were speaking ill of him, Trump called Scarborough psycho and disparaged Brzezinski for her looks.
Spoken out against the tweet. Nebraska Senator Ben Sass writes, "Please just stop. This isn't normal," he tells the press. And he says, "It's beneath the dignity of your office." House Speaker Paul Ryan says the president's remark about Mika Brzezinski obviously wasn't appropriate.
Look, what we're trying to do around here is improve the tone and the stability of the debate, and this obviously doesn't.
The White House spokeswoman defends the tweet, saying Mr. Trump won't be bullied by the media. Stephen Portnoy, CBS News, the White House.
As budget deliberations continue at the state capitol, Consumer Counsel Ellen Katz is blasting a proposal from Republicans to raid $136 million over 2 years from the Connecticut Energy Efficiency Fund.
That's an investment we ask consumers to make. And if you just instead take that money that we've collected and put it into the general fund, it just becomes another tax. Only it's one that's kind of sneakily hidden on your electric bill.
The utility ratepayer-funded program pays for energy savings upgrades in homes and businesses, ranging from energy audits to insulation rebates. The revised travel ban upheld by the Supreme Court this week goes into effect at 8 Eastern tonight, and will likely be more challenges in the courts over what constitutes a family relationship that would allow entry into this country from 6 predominantly Muslim nations.
That's where they had to sort of split some hairs, and it's clear not everyone will agree with their definition. For example, grandparents are not considered a bona fide relationship, nor are fiancés, but a daughter-in-law or a son-in-law or a sibling is. So, of course, this is definitely destined for more court action.
That's CBS News Justice reporter Paula Reed. WTIC News Time is 2:04. Checking traffic in Torrington again, that Route 8 situation. Northbound side's closed out there between 44 and 45. A truck lost its load of tar, we're told. Elsewhere, it's the usual midday road work down in Cromwell on 91 South between 21 and 20. That's a left lane project with that. And also down in Orange on the Parkway, backups between 58 and 59 due to road work in that area. Right lane was closed. Here's meteorologist Sam Perry with the WTIC Weather Center forecast.
With partly cloudy skies across the region right now, with intervals of sunshine. Temperatures have warmed into the 80s in some spots. For your drive home this afternoon and this evening, not bad at all. It will be dry with partly cloudy skies. And temperatures averaging again in the low 80s, popping back into the 70s overnight, mainly a cloudy night with mild and muggy with lows in the 60s. During the day tomorrow, mix of sun and clouds, hot and humid, highs reaching 85 to 90. The same goes for Saturday, 85 to 90, slight chance for a shower or thunderstorm. Better chances for showers and thunderstorms along a slow-moving cold front on Sunday, with highs well up into the 80s, clearing late in the day, especially in western areas. Monday, Tuesday, right now looks partly to mostly sunny, highs in the 80s, lows around or just over 60. I'm meteorologist Sam Perry.
It is 79 right now in Hartford, and for these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. More Rush Limbaugh on 60 Cent.
CBS Wednesday on Criminal Minds. Sometimes to catch a killer,
she wasn't targeted. She was a witness who had to be silenced.
you have to think like one.
He needs easy targets. If he sticks to his pattern, he usually kills in twos.
We're ready to do a profile. Dare to go inside. TV's #1 suspense thriller.
We get into the mind of the killer.
Criminal Minds, CBS Wednesday, or stream it live on demand.
CBS Tuesday.
What do we know?
NCIS is more than a team.
Care to share?
They're smart.
I am that good.
That is not nothing.
Fearless.
Someone is going to pay for this.
Unpredictable.
They're better than ever.
And most of all,
Good just triumphed over evil.
their family.
Your family's crazy.
Yeah, but they're still family. TV's most watched drama.
I never get tired of hearing that.
NCIS, CBS Tuesday, or stream it live or on demand.
Why are more and more people starting their day with CBS This Morning? More real news.
We're following an unfolding story.
Dramatic new images this morning. This has just happened. This is breaking news. Join Charlie Rose.
New concerns about security in the nation's capital.
Nora O'Donnell.
Senator, why shouldn't Congress have more oversight?
And Gail King.
What do you make of all of these leaks? What do you think is going on?
CBS This Morning. More real news.
We're going to be monitoring the latest developments and we'll bring you new details as they come in.
Greetings, my friends, and welcome. You are tuned to the most listened to radio talk show in America, hosted by me, America's real anchorman. It's a delight to be with you, where we meet and surpass all audience expectations every day. On this program every day, it's the way things ought to be, and the way things are on the way to becoming. 800-282-2882 if you want to be on the program. 1 big hour remaining. I mentioned at the top of the program that I'm always, even now after all this time, I'm still surprised over what happens on this program that makes it beyond this program. For example, I think this program is chock full of unique, insightful intelligence and brilliance every day. And we also do some lighthearted, irreverent, humorous things. And a couple of those have leapt beyond the surly bonds of this program and found their way into the drive-by media. One of them is my belief, as stated yesterday, that we could be watching the death throes of CNN. Now, that's a long shot. I mean, there's always going to be a CNN like there's always going to be in America, but what's it going to be is the question. And I have watched CNN. The New York Times a close second, and the Washington Post, but CNN, wall-to-wall Malaysian airliner, wall-to-wall on just the oddest things. Ferguson, Missouri, they wouldn't leave that alone. They tried to hype it. It is clear to me that CNN has chosen an objective, and that is to destroy the Trump presidency. There's no doubt in my mind that's their objective. And they have focused on it since the election, and it's getting more intense. And with each day, the realization that they're failing is driving them nuts. And now they've got this reporter, Jim Acosta, who is melting down almost daily here over procedures in the White House press room, not turning on the cameras. Journalists all over now claiming that Trump is going to get them shot because of the way he's talking about them. Well, right here, CNN anchor, Trump putting journalists in danger. Danger or declaration of war on media has emboldened war zones. This is CNN's Clarissa Ward, a foreign correspondent, served as guest co-host Wednesday's broadcast of CNN's Newsday. And she fretted that people in war zones have been emboldened by Trump's declaration of war on the media. She expressed concern for members of the media in dangerous areas of the world. And she said to Chris Cillizza, I can only imagine what a person like you is dealing with. At what point does this become reckless or irresponsible? Cillizza is a Washington-based political correspondent and commentator, and since he's not a Republican, he's not in any danger of being shot in Washington, D.C., or Arlington, Virginia, or the neighboring surrounded areas. But no, these journalists literally think that Trump is inspiring war-torn areas of the world to start taking pot shots at journalists when it's Republicans who are being fired upon. And then I made mention of Jim Acosta being like a cat with a laser pointer, crashing against the wall and the floor, running into sofas and all, trying to catch Trump, never able to do it, looking like a fool. These two things made it as discussion items on Fox News and elsewhere. We start with Tucker Carlson last night. He spoke with Mark Stein, our fill-in host, about me and my comments that Trump may be the person that brings about the end of CNN. And this was part of the conversation.
What is the prediction? You heard Rush Limbaugh, who you sit in for sometimes, say that they're going to be a casualty of the Trump administration.
Yes, I think that's likely. There are diminishing returns to this, which is that it's a Russian investigation with no Russians. The only Russian anyone ever mentions is the ambassador, who's like strolling around lunching all over the District of Columbia. He's the only sinister Russian in this story. It's a Russian investigation without any Russians.
It's true. And in that Washington Post story last Friday, it's a story about Russian collusion with Trump, and there's no mention of Trump in the story. So later that night on the 5, which has now been moved to 9, so they should call it the 9. But they don't call it the 5 because it was on at 5 p.m. They call it 5 because there are 5 different personalities on there. So they played a clip of me on the program yesterday to begin a discussion panel. Could Donald Trump be the end of CNN? What a legacy that would be. I think that's what the Trump administration is doing with many in the media. They're like cats. He's got this little red laser light, and he's just causing them to make fools of themselves, and everybody's laughing at them as they're crashing into walls. Jesse Waters is on the 5 now at 9 o'clock, and he had his 2 cents to weigh in with.
Trump reminds me of Roadrunner. So he runs really fast, and then CNN's Wile E. Coyote. So Wile E. Coyote chases Roadrunner over the edge of a cliff, and then all of a sudden, Wile E. Coyote looks down, and there's nothing underneath. That's CNN right now. Splat. And they hit the pavement. But Trump has this effect on people. Rush was talking about the laser beam, and I've said it before that Trump brings out the best in people and the worst in people. Right now, he's bringing out the worst in CNN.
I like that Wile E. Coyote example. I really like it. In fact, I used it back in January. The drive-bys are in panic. You got to look at them as Wile E. Coyote. Got to look at Trump and his team as a roadrunner. Wile E. Coyote still has no idea what's happening. They're trying to continue to destroy Trump in the age-old ways they've succeeded. It's all backfiring on them. Now we moved to Hannity last night on the Fox News channel, and he had as a guest the recording artist, Kaya Jones. And of course, they're talking me, the EIV network. Hannity says, when you really think about it, Donald Trump is saying fake news, fake news, fake news, and they keep falling right into the trap. I think Rush is right.
He's 100% right. It's messing up actual factual input of what's going on in the country and what's going on in the world. I mean, they're literally using press briefings to drum up fake stories at this point. It's horrible.
Very perceptive there on the part of Kaya Jones, using the press briefing to drum up fake stories. That's one of the reasons why they're so mad that the cameras were turned off. The cameras are back on today. Sarah Huckabee Sanders doing the briefing right now. Steve Mnuchin is at the podium. He's Treasury, right? Yeah, Treasury Secretary, announcing some new sanctions on the Norks, on the North Koreans. And the cameras are on. She's right. CNN, others use the cameras to act out and create fake news. Okay. Well, look what we have here. Wolf Blitzer has weighed in on the fact that Trump is endangering the lives of journalists. Yesterday, Trump had the president of the White House Correspondent Association, a guy named Jeff Mason, on there. If I'm not mistaken, I think this guy Jeff Mason is from Reuters. Maybe it's Reuters is the bunch that does not allow the word terrorism or terrorist to be used in news stories about militant Islamists. And Reuters, they hate Trump. They despise Trump. So here's Wolf talking with Jeff Mason about Trump endangering our precious resource, native journalists.
You're the president of the White House Correspondents Association. Have you raised the concern that all of us in the news media have about the president calling all of us enemies of the American people? Because that is a very, very harsh statement and potentially very dangerous.
Well, that type of rhetoric is something that we've spoken out about since he first said that. That is rhetoric that we reject, and it's just not something that I think is helpful to the public discourse, and it's not, again, it's just not something that's true.
It just screeches out at me. You know, these people, they can say whatever they want about you. They can trash you, they can libel you. They can slander you, they can make things up. And if you're a public figure, there's precious little you can do about it. They can impugn you, they can destroy you. In many cases, that is the objective. Under the guise of speaking truth to power. Under the guise of keeping the powerful accountable, they set out, they want to destroy you. That's what they've been trying to do with Trump here since after the election. They're not reporting on anything here. They're trying to make it up. They're using fake news, fake sources, anonymous fake sources. There's no question. They're trying to reenact Watergate here. They're using the same verbiage. They keep looking for a deep throat. They're talking about things that Watergate had happened, terms and terminology and so forth, and drawing all these endless analogies and comparisons, and there's no... But yet, let Trump fight back against them, as George W. Bush would never do. Fight back against it, and you start calling out their professionalism, you question their intentions, you question their honesty, and you can't do that. That is not permitted. They have constitutional freedom. They are mentioned in the First Amendment, and as such, you cannot criticize them. That's what they think it means. They are above and beyond criticism. You can't do exposés on them. You can't do profiles of them. You can't find out how many illegitimate kids they've had, how many rehab centers they've been to. You can't find out how much infidelity is going. You can't do any of that. That's declaring war on the media, and that isn't permitted. But they can turn around and do anything in the world they want to you. And when that happens, the media says, "You gotta get his shot. He's calling us the enemy of the people." You are the enemy of some people. You are trying to destroy the elected representatives of a lot of people. No doubt the media is the power and the organizing force in America today behind American liberalism. It isn't the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party now is an arm of the media. The media is the nucleus. The media is at the center of the atom. The media is where all of this originates. The media is where talking points happen. The media is where strategy is hatched. The media is where criticism of the Democrats are doing the wrong things in trying to destroy Republicans is mentioned.
That's it.
And it's been going on for quite a while, and many of the American people are aware of it. So you have a president that fights back in his own way. Not tolerable. Jeffrey Goldberg is the editor of the Atlantic, editor-in-chief of the Atlantic. And he was on, let's see, this is the Aspen Ideas Festival in Aspen, Colorado. Have you ever been to the Aspen Ideas Festival, Mr. Sturdley? Oh, it's
The following is a test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test.
And he's talking about why less than 40% of the United States say they fully trust the media. Less than 40% trust the media. I don't think it's that high. I think it's less than 20. And during the discussion, by the way, this is what Katie Couric, she's the info babe here. Katie Couric, of course, hangs around in places like Aspen because she's a former A-list celebrity, and Aspen's a place those people go with their ideas. They go there and just idea. So she got this guy on, and she said, Jeffrey, when the president constantly tweets that different newspapers are examples of fake news and accuses reporters of being fake news at White House briefings, what is your reaction?
We're all engaged in a reality TV show. This is a reality TV version of a war between a president and the press. The problem is, and this is what I worry about more than anything else, is that there are people in the country who don't understand that this is a cynical reality TV game and are going to hear over and over again from the president that the reporters, journalists, are enemies of the state. And someone, I mean, God forbid, but someone is going to do something violent against journalists in a large way, and then I know where the fault lies.
Well, isn't this just delicious? Republicans are already getting shot at. Journalists aren't. And yet this guy's setting the stage. He is certain people are going to start shooting at journalists, and he is already ready to affix the blame. He knows where the fault lies.
You fucking piece of
Once again, an
shit!
example of contempt for the American people. I don't know. A lot of people in this country don't understand this is a cynical reality TV game. It's a reality TV game? What? Is it only serious when some empty-headed pseudo-intellectual like Barack Obama's in the White House, jabbering on and saying nothing but sounding brilliant while he's doing it? Because those are the days you long for. When somebody makes you think that he's one of you, is up there waxing eloquent, making no sense, and destroying the foundations of our country. That's what you like. Somebody comes along and wants to stop the corrosion and the perversion and the corruption of our country, and all of a sudden it just becomes a reality TV show. It's not serious. This is why less than 20% respect the media.
White House Director Mick Mulvaney surprises our humble broadcast host.
So I'm interviewing him. I thought he's a rush baby. He is the perfect choice to be in charge of the federal budget. He's revved and fired up.
Learn more about Mick Mulvaney and how he's moving Trump's taxpayer-first agenda forward in the Limbaugh Letter. Subscribe at rushlimbaugh.com. You're listening to the EIB Network.
WTIC News Talk 1080.
When my cardiologist told me I needed to take a statin drug to lower my cholesterol, he also told me that it can lower my natural levels of CoQ10. He told me to take Qunol. It has the #1 cardiologist-recommended form of CoQ10, a very important nutrient for a healthy heart and healthy blood pressure levels. Qunol, with 3 times better absorption, has the #1 cardiologist-recommended form of CoQ10. Take Qunol, the better CoQ10.
Hi, I'm Kyle Cox, owner of Blindster.com. That's blindster.com. Can you read a tape measure and turn a screwdriver? If so, you can enjoy our custom blinds, shades, and shutters and save money by doing it yourself. I'm so confident you can install our blinds. If for any reason your blinds don't fit, even if it was your mistake, we'll remake the blinds in the size you need free of charge. You only pay shipping.
Visit Blindster.com today and save 40% on any order. Just use the code RUSH at checkout. BlindsTER.com.
You might be seeing a new label about food safety on packaging.
If you are a man facing divorce in the Hartford area, you now have access to the services of the domestic litigation firm Cordell & Cordell. The firm's lawyers help protect and promote men's family and financial interests before, during, and after divorce. Men have chosen Cordell & Cordell because they want to feel that their interests and the interests of their children are aggressively championed. Now with an office in Hartford, Cordell & Cordell is able to help even more men protect their roles in their children's lives while safeguarding their financial means to do so. If you're a man confronted with a marriage you can't save, you should consider Cordell & Cordell, a partner men can count on. Contact the domestic litigation firm of Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Hartford area attorneys, a partner men can count on. 860-969-0000. That's 860-969 all zeros. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Office in downtown Hartford. Phyllis McCutcheon, licensed in Connecticut.
Lowe's has you covered for all those projects on your summer to-do list and will even help you save. Give your home a whole new look inside and out with $10 to $40 off paint, exterior stains, and resurfacers via rebate. And add a pop of color to your porch or patio with flowers. Get your choice 2 for $10 basic 1.5-gallon hanging baskets. All projects have a starting point. Start with Lowe's. Paint offer valid 6/21/275. Exclusions apply. Plan offer valid 6/28/275. Color and selection vary by location while supplies last. U.S. only.
When this world seems complicated, did you hear that? Confusing.
If the world ends, Trump will be a one-term president.
And out of control.
Join us while I'm still allowed to broadcast this show.
Stephen Colbert's got you covered.
Did someone say delusional egomaniac?
The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. The smart choice.
It's funny because nothing matters.
Weeknights on CBS or stream it live or on demand.
How am I doing, America?
Follow us on Twitter at WTIC1080.
I have a soundbite here. I was just made aware of it. Yeah, I was trying to tell somebody this morning, this Mr. Sternley, I don't know how to behave when I get favorable press. I almost get nervous. It's hard to explain. My experience with the press is that it's always negative, cutting, attempted damage. It's unfair. Most of it's untrue, but it's always attack. I've just grown accustomed to it. And I see, like, I would never be comfortable as a liberal getting fawning press. It just wouldn't seem natural. And when I do get, it's very, very rare. And when it happens, I feel, I don't know, it doesn't feel genuine. I don't quite know how to explain this. It's not that I have been so conditioned to only, it's that fawning or positive coverage for some reason, I was going to say embarrasses me, but that's not what it is. But anyway, it happened here on CNN. There's on the headline news, one of their commentators is John Phillips. And he's, let's see, Erica Hill is the host of this particular segment on headline news. And she was speaking with this guy, John Phillips, one of their contributors, about Trump's tweets about Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski. And she says, this is not about politics. This is not about presidential behavior. At the end of the day, John Phillips, this is about behaving like an adult. Full stop. Is the president doing that? Is he behaving like an adult?
I would dispute the description of Mika Brzezinski as a news anchor, which is what I've been hearing all morning. She's a liberal talk show host, and politicians attack talk show hosts all the time. Let's not forget, Al Franken wrote a book called Rush Limbaugh is a Big Fat Idiot. President Obama told Republicans to turn Rush Limbaugh off if they want to get along with him. Harry Reid called him unpatriotic. So throwing bombs at talk show hosts that come from the opposite side of the political spectrum is not something that's new, even when looks are attacked, as we've seen with Rush Limbaugh.
He's exactly right. The Harry Reid thing is what's really fascinating. That whole phony soldier thing, I don't have time to detail it here now for those of you who don't know what it is. But he's exactly right. I have been talked about by presidents and senators the way Trump is talking about Mika and Joe. And nobody, all the others, they piled on and applauded. They applauded Obama. They applauded Franken. This guy has a good point. It still makes me nervous.
And now, a WTIC news update.
79 degrees at 2:30. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. State House Democratic leaders have released a revised two-year budget. Speaker Joe Arasimowicz, addressing reporters at the Capitol, says the hope is we'll vote on the thing July 18th after a vote on the concessions deal by state employee unions the day before. The revised package proposed package that is provides additional revenue to cities and towns, restores the property tax credit, and raises the state sales tax to 6.99%, among other things. The Speaker says in the interim, the governor would run the state by an executive order effective July 1st, Saturday, until that scheduled vote. Aetna's moving its headquarters from Hartford. The insurer made that official today, saying it'll be setting up shop in New York City. After over 160 years in Hartford, company officials say there will still be a significant presence with thousands of jobs here. Senate Republicans trying to salvage their bill repealing much of former President Barack Obama's health care law. They're now considering keeping the biggest tax increase he enacted to pay for the statute's expansion. GOP would repeal most of the tax boosts in Obama's law. WTIC News Time 2:31, checking traffic. On the roads, so far, we're in fairly decent shape. We only have the issue out in Torrington on Route 8 between 44 and 45 northbound. Truck had lost its load out there earlier. Otherwise, it's just the gaggle of construction, the road work that we see normally during the midday hours. WTIC Weather Center, partly cloudy, warmer, a bit more humid today in the 80s. Sun's down at 8:30. Cloudy, mild, and muggy tonight in the 60s, and then sunny, hot, and humid tomorrow. Chance of a late-day thunderstorm, 85 to 90. 79 right now in Hartford. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
WTIC News Talk 1080 and Riverfront Recapture are bringing you the third annual Riverfront Food Truck Festival, presented by Sprint, July 6th to 8th at Morton City Riverfront Plaza in Hartford. A large variety of food trucks. There's something for everyone. Join us for your lunch break or stop by after work. This event is for foodies and families alike. It's your chance to see what food trucks from all over have to offer. Admission is free and they're all in one place. Don't miss the Riverfront Food Truck Festival presented by Sprint. With entertainment presented by Hascon, Rhode Island's Hasbro fan and family event. WCIC.com for more info. CBS Friday. Show some respect. Man up. Hawaii Five-0 has TV's hottest romance.
What's wrong? I don't see that coming.
Tune in for the action. Stick for the male bonding. What are you thinking?
You're thinking. Hungry. That's pretty quickly.
It's a match made in Can't much.
That's really rules.
Hawaii Five-0. CBS Friday. Or stream it live or on demand. Asking the right question is 95% of getting the right answer.
That's a question I'll bet you haven't heard before. You're the Speaker of the House. Have you reached out to the Democrats yet?
You don't even work on this. Here's the Vice President. Tell me where you think this conflict is right now. Terrific question.
What are some of the questions you want to see answered about what Russia may have done? Thank you for the question. What do you see as the central question?
Really good question.
That's a great question. That's a good question.
That is the perfect question. Here's a question. Why would you get your news from anywhere other than CBS this morning?
Comedy, action, indie, or blockbuster. Go to movietickets.com, mobile or online, and get your tickets in advance. And go to WTIC.com to win free movie tickets from movietickets.com. Come on, let's be Facebook friends. You can find us at WTIC 1080.
Hey, let's not forget the big one. How about when Bill Clinton accused me of being responsible for the Oklahoma City bombing? You remember that? How many people called Clinton out on that? There was nobody. The drive-by media was all supportive, ran the story. They might not have promoted it, but they didn't condemn it. And of course, it was absurd. And he did it in a speech at a memorial in Oklahoma City. Angry voices on the right, speaking out about their government, and then see what happened. And when he was called on it, when he said, well, I went from some of the Michigan militia shortwave network. So, these things, when something like this happens, these Trump tweets, I don't even remember these things until people call my attention to it. Although I did remember today Obama telling the Republicans to stop listening and talking to me. That's not how things get done. What Obama didn't know was they weren't listening to me. They wouldn't have been in trouble if they had been. But Obama's one of these classic guys. He's classic leftists that think that talk radio is running the Republican Party, or was. But yeah, I've had every insult you can imagine thrown my way, and there's never anybody that comes along and chastises the president or the senator or whoever does it. Harry Reid and that phony soldier business was. Boy, did we turn that around. That's one of the highlights of this program. But look, I don't have time to get into it now. There's too much going on. We're not enough time left. Folks, there was another massive malware assault on computers a couple of days ago. It was on Tuesday, and it happened around the world, including some outfits here in the United States. It resulted in email delivery delays. Some people that I've sent emails to have Yahoo accounts on Tuesday still have not received them. They were sent. My server sent them. They still haven't been received. This is one example. Not outages here. In my case, I haven't been harmed by the malware, but it's just slowing everything down. This one is named Petya, P-E-T-Y-A. Now, unlike we saw last month with another widespread computer attack, this one doesn't just encrypt computer files until a ransom is paid. This one locks the entire computer disk so that nothing can be executed. It goes to show you how vulnerable computers and programs can be. Now, this episode, this current malware that's still out there and slowly infecting machines it comes into contact with, makes a great case for protecting your own online identity, amongst other precautions. The future computer attack might accumulate data on these disks that they are co-opting, including yours. It's why we suggest protecting your online identity with LifeLock. They are the best at scanning the internet and constantly monitoring online transactions of their members, looking for any evidence they can find of identity theft, credit card fraud that could be affecting you. This week, LifeLock is partnering again with Norton to provide Norton security software for your computer when you sign up with LifeLock. You put these two together, it's a great defense against the evolving threats to everyone's digital security. You get more protection for your devices, for your data, and your identity. Now, no one can stop every cyber threat, prevent all identity theft either. Nobody can do that. Nobody can monitor every transaction out there. But there's nobody better at this than LifeLock. Nobody even comes close. Call 1-800-440-4833 or go to lifelock.com. Today, use this promo code Norton60. Do not use the promo code RUSH. Use the promo code Norton60 for details on how to receive Norton Security Deluxe for 1 year with an annual LifeLock membership. It's a $90 value. You get your LifeLock membership for 60 days risk-free. That's promo code Norton60. It's different than the regular promo code we offer because this is a one-day deal today that LifeLock's making available with Norton. Norton60 after you dial 800-440-4833 or go to lifelock.com. John in Salt Lake City, you are next. Welcome to the program. Hi.
Well, thanks for bringing me aboard again, Rush.
You bet.
I'm sitting here looking at McConnell rushing, Swamp Care 2.0 back to the CBO and trying to get the numbers. And I'm sitting here scratching my head because the CBO numbers, well, they've never been predictive. Every time that the real life numbers come in, everybody's like surprised and they're never what they expected. And yet they keep running to the CBO like their numbers are a settled accounting, so to speak.
It's required.
Well, I'm starting to wonder if the people at the IPCC are working over at the CBO. I mean, it's like climate science for accounting.
Look, here's the flaw with the CBO. Among many, there are many flaws. The CBO can only deal with data it is given. So people that write legislation oftentimes write it to get past the CBO for one reason or another, in either a disguise or run in the round or whatever. But the problem with the CBO is they cannot and do not, they don't even try to figure or predict the costs based on what the legislation will cause in terms of the way people live. For example, the CBO claims if they see a bill that's going to cut taxes by 10%, the CBO will automatically conclude the government is down 10% in total revenue. A 10% tax cut in the CBO world means the government loses 10% of its annual income, budget, tax rate, whatever. Well, that's farcical. It's not a zero-sum game. Life isn't a zero-sum game, and tax increases or tax rate cuts affect the way people live and earn income and pay taxes. There's nothing static about it, but that's the only way they can score it. And so it's never accurate. That's what you were leading up to. The CBO's numbers are never accurate, but that doesn't matter. It's Washington. It doesn't have to be accurate. That's not what Washington's about. The CBO is part of an intricate web that has been woven, that is designed to be an obstacle to Republican ideas and greased lightning for Democrat ideas, while everybody claims it's non-partisan. But that's not possible. It simply isn't nonpartisan, and it can't be. Now, McConnell, resubmitting this, he may be doing exactly what I theorized, which many of you continue to poo-poo. Claiming he's not that strategic, he's not that smart, he doesn't have the ability to take what they did. They have to furnish their math. CBO has to tell you how they arrived at their conclusions. So my theory is McConnell's looking at this and rewriting a new healthcare bill designed to pass the CBO. Other learned commentators have acknowledged this is possible. Many people think that McConnell's not nearly, he doesn't even care enough about it to get this intricate. We shall see. What's the problem with most legislation today? And I would even include Trump in this. This health care bill, folks, there's, you know what the objective is now? To get a bill passed. Getting a bill passed means we've done it. We've done something. We've repealed Obamacare, even though it won't be a repeal of Obamacare. It's going to be a new health care bill that tinkers around the edges. It's not going to repeal anything, and it's not going to replace anything. But they're going to say that it does. And there'll be signing ceremonies and bands, and little otters will be released back to their native habitat. It'll be a giant, giant party. Nothing is really changing because the Republicans don't really want to repeal it. And that's the problem with too much legislation today. It's become an end unto itself.
Yep.
Just get the bill passed. We'll take care of the PR.
Yeah, but it's totally different now. It's not even ham. It's not even ham radio anymore.
I've got to grab somebody.
It's appliance operators. It's appliance operators. Operators. It's like you buy a washing machine, or they just buy a transceiver and they talk. I like to build something, design it, perfect the design. That to me is what ham radio is. Not buying an appliance. Not buying an appliance. Oh. No. No, like I was just telling the last guy, I got an 88 Corvette with 31,000 miles on it. And the reason it has so few miles is because I'm always here. And it's the same thing. I'm not active. Nope. Still have to exercise and sleep 7 hours a day and stuff like that.
So you do repair work on transceivers and so forth?
No.
No.
Okay, you're old enough to remember Lafayette Radio Electronics.
Yes, yes.
A year or two ago, a guy walked in and said, "You know, I've heard good things about stereo surgeons. I used to be the regional manager for Lockheed Radio Electronics, and I've got some really collective pieces I'd like to rebuild for him. And he brings me in all these Dynaco things. And that I have a one lost. When I saw that, I said, oh man, just like I said to you, I had to shovel a lot of sidewalks and cut a lot of lawns. But I got my HQ 170 AC. I have a little 15-watt transmitter, one crystal single unit, but I have the best receiving made. Like, you want to hook it up and listen to it for 2 hours? That's the box. It says speaker switch is broken, not broken. So it says it was in a box, and it says new box and packing. Okay. And the tag wouldn't be on the back of the item, it would be on the box. Okay. Any questions? I didn't read the manual. This right here, all accessories are listed. Okay. You signed off on. Any attention? Okay, so because you're a handwriting operator, I told you a higher standard. The way you can find that out, go home, take this, put it in the A position. Put it in the A position. Then you put it in the B position. I think one of them is going to fail. Because in the series, when the left speaker A fails when it's in series, it's still the right speaker A. It's still the right rear speaker A. You think it's going to fail? You fail. So why do you think it's going to fail? Because you didn't fail it. Did you run the radio? No. Yeah, I was just curious. I haven't used it for years, so I was getting reception. I asked you how it failed and explained to you. Yeah, no, I understand. That you keep doing it. Since there's nothing other than what we've done. So, you I'm very concerned. So, I really think you're going to find if you did the HP% only and the B-Stick% only test, you're going to find one of those sets that are absolutely. All right. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate your efforts. Bye now. See you. I'm not going to go for slaves. I go for squat. All right.
And more men protect their roles in their children's lives while safeguarding.
All right, we're back.
If you're a man confronted with a marriage,
What do we leave off here? We've got our board mounted. We've got some top side soldering to do also. So we're going to put everything back together and see if we can get it to fail.
860-969-0000. That's 860-969 all zeros. Online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Office in downtown Hartford. Village McCutcheon, licensed in Connecticut. SIPC.
They've been waiting a long time, and now for the General Assembly, there's only tonight and tomorrow. What will they do to solve the budget crisis? It's an incredibly suspenseful moment. It's hard to know why they've left it this long and why they leave it dangling still. We'll discuss it this afternoon, 3 o'clock on Talk 5 or 10
All right,
on
let's do this.
WTIC.
Thinks I play freaking golf again.
Okay, see the sunshine band, give it up. Hey, folks, I wanted to spell a myth here, one that's constantly reinforced by TV shows and movies. Home burglaries do not happen at night. Not always. The reason they don't happen at night is because that's when you're home. Under cover of darkness, it looks good on a TV show, but most home burglaries happen between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m., when it is logically assumed that nobody's going to be there. Simply Safe, the makers of a great home security system, pays attention to information like this because it's their business. So, of course, they're going to notice these kinds of details, and it matters in how they manufacture the Simply Safe home security system. Functioning home security system can scare off a home burglar and thwart a home invasion attempt. Simply Safe's system instantly activates a loud siren and simultaneously notifies you and the cops when somebody breaks the security perimeter of your system. It could be opening a door, it could be opening a window, breaking a window. The sensors for glass breaking go into gear. It could be you have sensors in the yard. You can do anything you want here. And whenever that periphery is broken, you hear about it, the siren goes off, and the cops find out about it if you authorize that. The system operates on Wi-Fi and cellular, so it's impossible for somebody to cut the wires outside your home and break off a connection. You install a system in your home to make it safe and secure. All going to be on Wi-Fi or cellular. Every sensor or motion detector transmits messages to a centralized device. We call it the base station in your home. Simply Safe makes it. It triggers the alarm and the notifications to whoever you program to receive it. You can set the alarm from your phone or your computer just as easily as you can disarm the system when you get home from work. Simply Safe's monitoring service is optional. You get the siren, the loud noise, if you don't want the cops, fine, pay for it. It's $14.99 a month. No contract, you can sign up for it as you want. And it's no contractual commitment is involved. See the system and buy it online at simplysafeusa.com. You'll get 10% off using that website. There's no promo code necessary, just simplysafeusa.com. That's for you, and they get you 10% off whatever you decide to buy. You can do an apartment, a condominium, doesn't have to be a whole house. Wherever you live, you can secure it. Here is Brent in Standish, Michigan. Racing you called. How you doing, sir?
Hey, how you doing?
Very well.
From Hillsdale Dad, Reagan Republican, a Ayn Rand reader, and Rush Limbaugh fan.
Thank you very much. You've got it all covered.
Well, I've been listening for a long time.
20 years old.
Enjoy talking to you.
Fine. What's up?
Well, it occurs to me that if I were Putin, I would want to put the presidential election on the front burner, making it sound like it's a really important one, thereby taking his attention off Ukraine and Syria and other issues that he's got showing around the world. And I think that the media is getting into this hook, line, and sinker. What do you think?
The Putin angle in this is a fascinating thing. I think it's absolutely absurd, and it's sophomoric to think that Putin would want a certain candidate to win. It is. Putin is going to be considering the United States his number one enemy, no matter who our president is. And no matter who's elected, that isn't going to change. I think Putin is loving the media saying he's got all this power. I mean, because they're a third world country outside of their military. He's got to be eating it up. I'm really short on time.
Rush Limbaugh on the EIB network. WTIC, Houston, 1080.
Student loan debt has now surpassed credit card debt. In fact, the average student loan debt is about $48,000. If you have student loan debt, whether from the government or a private lender, you must check out SoFi. Just go to trysofi.com to see how easily you can consolidate all your loans into one simple payment that will save you thousands and pay off your debt faster. Can you believe that most people with student loan debt have never considered refinancing their student loans? Go to trysofi.com. That's trysofi.com from your phone, your tablet, or computer. And in less than 2 minutes, you'll know how much you can save. SoFi has a 5-star rating with Student Loan Hero, so you know you can trust them. Go to trysofi.com. That's trysofi.com. And once you qualify, you'll get instant access to career coaching, network events, and great customer service. It takes less than a couple of minutes. It won't impact your credit score, and there's absolutely no obligation. Go to trysofi.com. That's trysofi.com. Terms and conditions apply. NMLS number 1121636.
Catch all the action of Red Sox baseball on WTIC. News Talk 1080. And Jackie hammers with the right field deep. This ball is going. This ball is gone. A two-run homer for Jackie Bradley Jr. And the Red Sox win it 5-3. Winning tonight at 6:25 for a Fenway duel with the Minnesota Twins. Get on to the Sox on WTIC. News Talk 1080. All right, the 4th of July almost here, and the Highland Park Market Bundle is back. $99.99 value of top quality Highland Park meats for just $59.99. That's big savings on the July 4th barbecue bundle that includes Smithfield Prime all natural pork, Bill & Evans chicken, certified Angus beef, all bundled and ready to go. Sure, you can hook some up now and freeze the rest, or cook them all at once. USDA choice Angus beef, 80% lean ground beef patties, 5-pound box. You also get Smithfield and all-natural boneless center cut pork chops, a 2-pound pork, 3 pounds of Hummel Brothers skinless pork and beef franks, 10 sticks of USDA choice certified Angus beef teriyaki beef sticks, about 2 pounds. Bell & Evans all-natural boneless and skinless chicken breasts, about 2 pounds, 2.5 pounds of fresh baby back ribs from Smithfield, and Highland Park's reusable tote bag. For over 130 years, no one's done it better than family-owned and operated Highland Park Market. Manchester, Glastonbury, Farmington, Suffield, and HighlandParkMarket.com. And be sure to like Highland Park Market on Facebook. 1080. Keep WTIC News Talk 1080 with you all summer long for the information you need. Weather forecasts from Joe Fury and the WTIC weather team help you plan your summertime activities. Taking a trip, traffic reports with Mike Allen, Jerry Griswold, and Mark Christopher will get you there without the hassle. Plus, up-to-the-minute news reports twice an hour. Keep us with you all summer long, because when you're on vacation, we're not. WTIC, News Talk 1080, and WTIC.com. A pleasant Independence Day weekend, 4th of July. Those of you in Rio Linda. And we'll be back here on Wednesday. The way the holiday falls here, it's kind of odd. If Mark Billing in here tomorrow, we'll have somebody else on Monday, didn't quite here, and then Wednesday, we'll be back. See you then. Thanks for being with us. Vacation time means driving the highways and byways of the Nutmeg State. Ready for the long drive ahead? Of course, we all know that summer means construction. That means delays to make your head spin. Well, you can avoid the mess. Just tune in to WTIC for Jerry Griswold, Mike Allen, and Mark Christopher. Weekday mornings and afternoons on the 8s to make that drive a bit more pleasant. So put the top down and crank up those tunes. Just remember to preset on AM 1080 for all the traffic info you need. WTIC AM 1080 and online at WTIC.com.
From Harvest.com.
Preset 1080 for Connecticut's News Talk with traffic and weather together on the 8s. This is WTIC and WTIC HD Hartford.
3 o'clock, Hartford temperature.
This is WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, a simulcast of WTIC News Talk 1080.
The 2-year plan announced this afternoon at the Capitol by House Speaker Joe Arasimowicz.
Our municipalities, our hospitals, workforce development. We picked the date up on July 18th, which is legislation that is one day after the CBEC vote. This is our understanding.
also includes a hike in the state sales tax from 6.35 to 6.99%, something that doesn't sit well with House Republican leader Themis Claridis.
We have in the House Republicans a fully vetted balanced budget, 3 of them in fact, that we have been ready, willing, and able to pass. We would like to walk in there right now, call it, debate it, and vote on it.
Proposal also touts additional revenue options, eliminates new taxes on hospitals, restores the property tax credit, and streamlines state government, among other things. Harrison Woods says the thinking is the state will be run under executive order until that budget vote will take place, presumably. As negotiations drag on, Republicans have proposed raiding $136 million over 2 years from the Connecticut Energy Efficiency Fund. State Consumer Counsel Ellen Katz calls it a sneakily hidden tax, considering the money comes from utility ratepayers.
Connecticut electric ratepayers, that we're going to put a little extra charge on your bill to fund an energy efficiency fund, and the dollars you put in pay off in savings on real electric bill savings at a rate of 3 to 1. For every dollar we save $3 or more.
The program funds everything from energy-saving light bulbs to insulation rebates. Aetna's making it official. It's announcing the move of the corporate headquarters to New York City. This after nearly 2 centuries based in Hartford. Chairman and CEO Mark Bertolini says the Big Apple is a knowledge economy hub and driver of innovations. About 250 people expected to leave. The vast majority in Connecticut will stay here, but the company says its long-term commitment to Connecticut is going to hinge on whether the state is able to fix its finances and support reforms and once again make Hartford vibrant. Mayor Luke Gronin this afternoon saying the move shows that changes are needed to put the state on a fiscally sound path.
The state of Connecticut needs strong, vibrant, sustainable cities. Not just the city of Hartford, but including our capital city, the city of Hartford. Our economic future depends on having strong urban centers like Hartford.
The revised travel ban goes into effect 8 Eastern this evening, but there's already pushback on who constitutes a family member that would allow those from predominantly Muslim nations here.
Critics of the ban say that targeting grandparents is a low blow. Rama Isa, the Arab American Association, says
this administration is redefining what a family is.
Murad Alwade of the New York Immigration Coalition.
They have created another sense of confusion within the Muslim community and immigrant community at large.
Cheyenne Ladaris of the Iranian American Council urges Congress to act.
This unconstitutional Muslim ban directly affects their constituents, and they need to step up.
Gary Nuttall, CBS News.
Congressional Republicans and Democrats speaking as one and criticizing President Trump's tweet about cable TV news anchor Mika Brzezinski of MSNBC. House Democratic leader Pelosi told reporters today that Trump's tweet saddens her and says it is beneath the dignity of the President of the United States. Well, it was supposed to be a day like no other during the Major League Baseball season for umpire John Tumpane. He was on his way to the park for last night's Pirates-Rays tilt in Pittsburgh, the 34-year-old noticing a woman climbing over a railing on the Roberto Clemente Bridge perched above the Allegheny River.
And I put her arm with mine and said, "Oh my God, this isn't good over here. I said, why don't we just go grab some lunch and talk about whatever?" No, I'm better off on this side. Just let me go.
He was able to coax her, and he and several others were able to coax her off the bridge until emergency responders arrived. He says instinct kicked in. Several others able to grab the woman who seemed bent on jumping over the bridge. WTI's.
There's a lot of change in healthcare these days. New treatments, new medicines, even new ways of paying for your care. Healthcare may be changing, but your relationship with your doctor is still number one. Connecticut doctors are committed to your health. We're leading the way to better patient care. One patient, one team, better health outcomes. Brought to you by the doctors of the Connecticut State Medical Society. Doctors you trust, caring for Connecticut since 1792.
This summer, Big Brother is back. Cut off from the outside world, 16 strangers will live in a house of temptation.
Bring it on!
Cameras will watch their every move. Microphones will record their every word. Let the games begin. Now, for every temptation they take, I want it all. Someone else is gonna pay.
This is Wilding Twisted Twist.
Don't miss a minute.
Tune in to yours.
Okay, we have put the item back together, and we're powering it up. And you're going to do the dummy run. And we're going to run it for a little bit. See if it fails. If not, we're going to wrap it up. And cross your fingers. Hope it doesn't fail. In the meantime, I think I'm going to have some lunch. Because I earned it.
CBS Monday or stream it live or on demand. When this red seems complicated, did you hear that? Confusing. If the world thinks Trump will be a one-term president, and out of control, join us live. Steve Colbert's got you covered. Did someone say delusional egomaniac? The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. The smart choice is funny because nothing matters. Weeknights on CBS or stream it live or on demand. How am I doing, America?
2-9. WTIC News Time 3:06. Checking traffic in Hartford. Eastbound side of 84 between exits 50 and 51. There's a free vehicle crash. Should be off on the shoulder, but looking for slow traffic getting by that. Here is meteorologist Sam Perry with WTIC Weather Center forecast. Your afternoon heading into the evening hours with partly cloudy skies with temperatures averaging in the upper 70s to lower to middle 80s across the area. We have a pretty good wind out of the south-southwest of 5 to 15 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly cloudy with lows in the 60s. It starts to turn mild and muggy. And during the day tomorrow, that's when you feel it partly sunny, hot, and humid, with high temperatures reaching 85 to 90. The same goes for Saturday, partly sunny, near 90 with a chance for a shower. Thunderstorms, showers and thunderstorms likely on Sunday with the main cold front. Highs in the 80s. It'll be warm and humid, and then it turns less humid late in the day, especially in western areas. Monday, Tuesday. Mix of sun and clouds to mostly sunny skies. Highs will stay in the 80s and overnight lows in the upper 50s to lower 60s. Have a great evening, everyone. I'm meteorologist Sam Perry. It's 79 right now in Hartford. Wall Street Dow down 135 points. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Heartbreaker.
Well, how about that? It is a rocking day. A lot of action up at the Capitol building as they, it's a fascinating business politics, you know, and
Studio, mind you, with a little garden. But I couldn't afford the $135 a month for that apartment. God knows what it costs today. So I had to live in Queens, in a neighborhood I didn't care for. And I had to go in a rotten subway to get into Manhattan to my job. That's the way it is. You know, when you have a family, you can't afford to live in New York or Queens, you move to Nassau or Suffolk, if you can afford to live there. That's how the suburbs develop. But if you tell that to the moronic millennials who think they're entitled to a penthouse on Fifth Avenue, they tell you that you're not being fair, that they're entitled to live in Manhattan because that's where they want to live. And if they want to live there, they should have a right to live there. And if they want health care, they have a right to health care. That's crazy. No, there's no right to anything on this earth. The right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is all you're promised. The rest is up to you. Now, I've had enough of the bums. There are people living in the Mission District in San Francisco and other districts, the Castro, They cannot come out of their houses. They're assaulted by bums. Bums are encamped on their doorstep. They're defecating on their doorstep, stealing their mail, threatening the owners. People ride this underground subway system here called BART. They get out on the 16th Street subway stop, I'm reading, and they're assaulted by a homeless army of violent felons who harass them, exhibit themselves, defecate, urinate. The people have created watch groups, 50, 60 people, liberals, all good liberals, bleeding heart liberals. They can't live in their own houses. They thought that by moving in there and cleaning up their house, the neighborhood would clean up, but it didn't. And the supervisors come over. The supervisors come over and do nothing. This is what liberalism does to a city. It destroys it. So I'm going to give you some statistics today on the bums. Tonight, the travel ban, by the way, goes into effect. Trump's travel ban was upheld. It goes into effect tonight. So they can bring in only a certain number of their relatives. What a great. You imagine how many they're going to bring in from these countries now? What a story that is. If you have any homeless bum horror stories from your city, have you been assaulted? Has your property been damaged? I don't care if you're a liberal or conservative, put a napkin over the mouthpiece, because this is a show that you can air your grievances on. What is your solution to the bum problem? I'm going to ask you a question. Here's one. Would rehabilitation bum camps help? Work camps for bums. Rehabilitation, you give them the medical care they need, but you don't give it to them in the streets. You don't let them pollute the hospitals. You don't let them threaten the EMT workers. You build shelters for them outside of city limits, in cheap land, in rural areas, and you house the homeless in these work camps. You give them all the medical care, social services care that they now get, but you do it in a one-stop shopping place. It's much more efficient. It cleans up the streets. What's wrong with that idea? I'll tell you what's wrong with that idea. The lying lawyers, the illegal lawyers, the ACLU. You talk about fake news. You know, the fake news girls are on the run right now. They're terrified. They know the people are onto them. I mean, I've been talking about it for years, but they're frightened now. You look at the Wolfies, the sheepy blitzers, you look at the woodpeckers, they're frightened. They know the people know who they are. They've been exposed. But what about the fake lawyers? What about the fake lawyers who use their law degree to destroy society? Primarily those in the American Civil Liberties Union. They have nothing to do with civil and liberties. They're advancing a communistic agenda to destroy the society. Why are they free to ply their illegal trade in this country? Who gave them the power that overrides the power of the people? Who gave a few crazy lawyers in the ACLU the right to give more power to illegal aliens, more power to bums, more power to junkies, more power to molesters, more power to mass murderers than to the average person? Who gave them that power? Nobody. They just took it. Well, this is a new age. It's the age of Trump. It's time to take the power back. And it's not going to happen overnight. I got an email from someone. Again, you're invited to call the show, and I realize I'm not talking about Democrat, Republican, Republican, Democrat, Democrat, Republican, Democrat, Republican, Republican, Democrat, Democrat, Republican, Democrat, Democrat, Republican. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about bums. The bums that have taken over the country. Top 10 cities with the most homeless population, as you well know. New York, number one. Over 70,000 bums in the streets. Los Angeles, 43,000. Seattle, 10,000. San Diego, 8,600. D.C., 8,300. These are known statistics. San Francisco, total homeless, about 7,000. That's nonsense. It's much higher than that. The real population of bums in San Francisco is between 10 and 20,000, 10 to 15,000. San Jose, Santa Clara, they say 6,500, much, much higher. Boston, 6,200 bums. Las Vegas, 6,200. Philadelphia, 6,100. Now, I recognize as a compassionate human being who takes care of animals that human beings come first, and I have compassion for human beings, even bums, even junkies. I have compassion for them. However, I have compassion for the social fabric of America. The cities are becoming uninhabitable because of liberalism, which is catering to the bums. And so I have the solution. I want to know what's wrong with that solution. Have you been assaulted by a bum? Has your wife been assaulted by a bum? Have you been unable to go into your house because of a bum living on your curb? Have you had your car trashed in San Francisco? Do you know how many windows in cars are broken every night in San Francisco? A hidden statistic. By armies of vagrants and bums. You don't know how many? The city hides that data. Got an email the other day tied into the travel ban coming in tonight to ban Muslims from certain Muslim-dominated countries. I guess you're not supposed to say that. And it's called A Bit of Mirth. And you'll know the reason for the conflict when you reach the end. It says, "Dear sir, I have a very complicated benefits question. Many years ago, I married a widow out of love who had an 18-year-old daughter. After the wedding, my father, a widower, came to visit a number of times, and he fell in love with my stepdaughter. My father eventually married her without my authorization. As a result, my stepdaughter became my stepmother, and my father became my son-in-law. My father's wife, also my stepdaughter, and my stepmother gave birth to a son who is my grandchild because I am the husband of my stepdaughter's mother. This boy is also my brother, as the son of my father. As you can see, my wife became a grandmother because she is the mother of my father's wife. And therefore, it appears that I'm also my wife's grandchild. Short time after these events, my wife gave birth to a son who became my father's brother-in-law, the stepson of my father's wife and my uncle. My son is also my stepmother's brother, and through my stepmother, my wife has become a grandmother and I become my own grandfather. In light of the above mentioned, I would like to know the following. Does my son, who is also my uncle, my father's son-in-law, and my stepmother's brother, fulfill the requirements for receiving child care benefits? Sincerely yours, a new immigrant. The answer. Of course you qualify, new immigrant. I've arranged to start mailing the checks to all of you just as soon as you arrive here in California. Yours faithfully, Governor Jerry Brown. That's what's going on in the United States of America. The phone number again is 855-407-282. I'll be right back.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE, 855-400-7282. Savage.
The Savage Nation is sponsored by Swiss America, the only company I trust with my financial future. Call 800-289-2646 or SwissAmerica.com. I'm Dr. Michael Savage, and I have never before endorsed a pain reliever. Never. But now I am endorsing Relief Factor because I have studied and even written about the 4 ingredients in it. Well, you ask, who should consider ordering Relief Factor? Basically, anyone with pain that is keeping them from doing things that bring joy to their life, like taking walks without pain, or riding a bike, or playing golf again without pain, even getting out of bed every morning without pain, or even opening a bottle without pain. And no, of course, there are no guarantees, but I know you could very possibly be helped, like the thousands of other listeners who have been helped simply by ordering the 3-week quick start from Relief Factor for only $19.95. Did you hear me? And if $20 is too much for you, then you must not be in very much pain. But if pain is keeping you from doing the things you love to do, a $20 investment to see if you can lower or eliminate your pain is really not much at all. Try the 3-week quick start only at ReliefFactor.com.
Hey, America, we need to have a little talk. We've got more food than we know what to do with in this country, yet 17 million kids in America are struggling with hunger. Makes no sense. Luckily, the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks has volunteers gathering excess food and getting it to hungry kids. They're kind of like
a milestone night for the Yankees in Chicago on Wednesday. Top of the first inning, lead 1-0. They load the bases against Carlos Rodon. This is a 2-run single for Miguel Andujar. His first career hit comes in his first career at bat. 3-0 Yankees. Top 6, another first. Still 3-2. Jake Petrushka on for the White Sox gives up an RBI double to Tyler Wade. His first career hit with family and friends in attendance. Then Aaron Judge up at the top of the 6th. He deposits a 2-run blast to left off of Petrushka. He's major league leading 27. The Yankees blow it over with a 5-1 6, add 4 more in the ninth, and beat the White Sox 12-3. Miguel Andujar is the first Yankees player to have 3 hits and 4 RBI in his first major league game. Andujar was called up before the game as the Yankees placed Matt Halliday on a 10-day.
Step 3, congratulate yourself. By taking just 10 minutes in the air to right field, all the way back is Joy to the wall, jumping! And he makes a phenomenal home run saving catch. Matt Joyce robbed last year's 80th right fielder of a home run and a tip of the helmet. From Reddick to Joyce.
If you didn't catch the Chip Franklin Show on KGO 810, here's what you missed.
This is why there's such a thin veneer.
That shattered bases in the short bat. Hit the pitcher Andrew Kastner. He's down on the mound.
50 feet up near him.
Rick to left field. Yankees up 8-2.
All those things. So this is one of those kind of stories that you saw it. Obviously, I have personal interest in it. Taking out the entire to me, it's kind of silly. And so this is what, and tying into the story dovetails right into the Planned Parenthood. Is it just me, or is it I find it only slightly ironic that the conservatives oppose Planned Parenthood?
Well, Donald Trump kind of changing the tone here immediately after Cory Booker struck out 2.
On KGO 810.
Hey, I got some really good news to share with you.
Think fast.
Now breathe
Think slow.
and stretch.
Think round. Think square. There's plenty to think about in the newest research now coming out. It shows that regular exercise and a diet low in saturated fats and rich in antioxidants are not only good for your heart, they might even help to reduce the risk of Alzheimer's disease. So the Alzheimer's Association encourages you to think small, as in blueberries and other dark-skinned fruits. Think big, as in a long, brisk walk and a big bowl of dark green leafy veggies. And think about your future by visiting the Alzheimer's Association today at alz.org for more ways to maintain your brain. alz.org. Thinking ahead today might make all the difference tomorrow. Support our troops. We hear it practically every day. It's something we all agree on. Whenever and wherever the men and women of our armed forces are called, we send our support with them. It's something we all do. And supporting the USO is how it's done. The USO receives no government funding and depends entirely on the generosity of the American people. To find out more, call us at 888-USO-5566 or visit our website at uso.org.
Enough, folks. Here's a wake-up call for the savage nation. You're not going to believe this, but it's true. 2 generations ago, an economic disease took root in America that's infected virtually every asset you own. This potentially deadly financial virus is already deeply embedded within every bank account, every stock, and every bond market. The headlines have been warning us, but very few have paid attention. Every single dollar you've ever earned, saved, or invested is at risk. China and Russia are on the attack and stocking up on the only asset that's immune to the dying U.S. dollar. I'm telling it to you like it is. Wake up. I'm talking about gold, which is way up this year. It is time for you to act. Why don't you hedge your bet by calling Swiss America at 800-289-2646, 800-289-2646, and you will discover the timeless truth about gold before your assets take a deadly hit. Please, please, please protect yourselves by calling 800-289-2646, 800-289-2646, and you better tell them Michael Savage gave you that number.
Now, more of the Savage Nation on Talk Radio 560 KSFO.
We are talking about the biggest problem in America, which is the bums in the streets of San Francisco, New York. Name your city. I don't care what city you are in. Nobody will talk about the problem because of the laxness of liberalism, the proliferation of drug-addicted criminals in the homeless population is leading to a meltdown of the society that we all live in. Now, if you think this is happening by chance, you're mistaken. Do you know how much money is being made by middle women and middle men on the bum problem? You have any idea what kind of money the so-called homeless departments make? Well, let's take one city, for example. Here in San Francisco, one of the most dysfunctional cities in the world, a third world city posing as a first world city, with a Queen Anne front and a Mary Ann behind. We know that they spend at least $305 million in direct costs for bums. But what do they spend in indirect costs on the bums in the streets? What do I mean by indirect costs? Well, that would be police, that would be firemen, that would be EMTs, that would be legal services. How much does that cost us? Don't know. What about Berkeley, California? Berkeley, California, a little city filled with anarchists who put on masks and then teach at Berkeley by day. The city spends $17.7 million in federal, state, and local funds on an array of programs and services for bums. That works out to about $18,000 per homeless bum. $18,000 per homeless bum. And how much do the managers of these homeless services divisions make? Do you know what their salaries are? I do. Your hair will stand up when you find out. All of these sanctimonious, fraudulent liberals who go to their committee meetings like they care about the bums. They don't care about the bums. It's a business to them. And what about the drugs and the alcohol that's sold to the bums? Where does that money go? Where do the welfare checks go? Probably the drug dealers and the liquor stores, right? So you see, it's a big business to keep an entire underclass of bums living on freeways. If you drive from the Oakland airport along the corridor, the 80 corridor, over to Pinole or up in that area, you'll see an encampment of homeless bums off the highway. They'll make you won't know what city you're living in. You'll say this can't be so. From Oakland to Berkeley, you can count one encampment after another living under freeways. Now, I want to ask you something. Do you think that there are no health-related risks to the overall population, such as lice, such as typhus, such as hepatitis? Do you have any idea where are they defecating? Where are they urinating? Now, you understand that we have a broken down society. You understand that the people that we entrust to run our governments are basically either incompetent or thieves or incompetent thieves. It's hard to call them anything else. Just as you've heard of fake news, we know about fake government. We know about fake lawyers. We know about fake doctors. There's fake everything in society, isn't there? Well, how are we going to fix it all at once? I guess we can't. But the first thing we must do is start telling you about the problem in order to solve the problem. Just as Trump was the first to popularize the notion of fake news, and now he has them on the run because they were exposed just the other day by Project Veritas of making up the whole Russia collusion story. And I had the fellow on who did that underground tape, the tape that really broke open the whole CNN fake story on the Russia collusion. He admitted it was just for business. We're going to have to blow the lid off this bum story. It has to stop. Trump has to get around to fixing the streets of America. He has to clean up the homeless problem, and there are solutions to it. There are compassionate solutions to the homeless problem. You don't have to just wring your hands and say nothing can be done. There are solutions that can be given for the homeless bum. Now, many of them are mentally ill and or criminals hiding in the homeless population. There's a solution to that problem.
All right. Lunch is over. The item has been running while I'm eating. Let's take a look at what's going on here. It's still running, but that is meaningless. As we learned earlier, it did not fail when it was on its side, only when it was standing straight up.
Privy to the rehab process, but I can only assume that whatever they were doing wasn't.
We're going to do a couple other things right now, and then we're going to. I want to see something. Yeah. Then we're going to wrap it up, and then we're going to test it again for another 40, 50 hours and make sure it does not fail before it goes back to Texas. I want to see something here.
And then I went in the training room and I saw like a half a dozen
Savage. 855-400-7282. Savage.
Ladies and gentlemen, Genucel with its immediate effects is 50% off for a limited time only. You heard me, that's right. I said half price clearance. Order Genucel for bags and puffiness now, and also get the Platinum Self-Tanning Body Lotion as a free gift. Perfect hydration, tan, and protection. Rejuvenate, hydrate, and maintain that summer glow with a lotion unlike anything you've ever tried before. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the beach with healthier, tighter skin. And the bags and puffiness under your eyes, they're gone. Join our millions of satisfied customers and feel confident in your eyes, face, and body. Millions use this product and they love it, and I know you will too. I use it and I love it. Call 800-SKIN-891. That's 800-SKIN-891. Always, Genucel works in 12 hours, or bingo, you get your money back. Platinum Self-Tanning Body Lotion free while supplies last. Call or click now, and shipping is also free. This half-price clearance sale won't be around forever. Go to Genucel.com or call 800-SKIN-891, 800-SKIN-891.
KSFO is sponsored by Togo's. An accident southbound 880 on North Carolina Asphalt. That's a solo injury accident. A tow truck is en route. A crash on southbound 680 at Berryessa Road. A silver Chevy Impala and an unknown second vehicle causing delays there. 80 westbound after the metering lights. That three-car accident is now on the left shoulder. 92 westbound at High Rise. The right lane is blocked for painting work. That is scheduled until 4 p.m. 13 northbound between Park Boulevard and Moraga Avenue. The right lane is blocked for landscaping work until 2:30 p.m. That includes closure of the Park Boulevard on-ramp and the Moraga Avenue off-ramp. A disabled vehicle northbound 13 just south of Park Boulevard. There's a green sedan in the center divide. 80 westbound at the toll plaza. Metering lights are off. There are only minor delays. Traffic is sponsored by Togo's. Enjoy Togo's amazing turkey and avocado or the tasty turkey and cheese with new oven-roasted whole turkey breast. Just now filed even higher with a quarter pound of hand-sliced turkey. They're the best turkey sandwiches ever.
Hey, Dr. Phil here. You know, I help people solve difficult problems every day, but one problem has me stuck: childhood hunger. Nearly 16 million children in America struggle with it. Luckily, the Feeding America network of local food banks collects surplus food, giving hope to hungry children and their families. But they need your help. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food banks at feedingamerica.org.
I'm Paul George of the Indiana Pacers. When I was 6, my days were spent playing basketball. When I was 6, my dream was to make it to the NBA. When I was 6, my mom had a stroke. So I want you to learn to spot a stroke fast. F-A-S-T. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. I'm Paul George. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese.
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
70-70.
Ew, it stinks in here.
Passing gas. Is there a right time and a wrong time to do it?
Come on, huh? I'm trying to eat.
When indoors in the company of others, passing gas is not only taboo, it can be deadly.
I'm gagging.
Passing gas releases a plume of toxic vapors like ammonia and hydrogen cyanide.
Ah, you're killing us over here.
Every year, hundreds of infants exposed to passed gas die.
What? I cracked a window?
And just opening a window isn't enough. These deadly fumes can linger in the room for hours after odors have dissipated.
Daddy, you promised you'd smoke outside.
You're right, Pumpkin. Excuse me.
If you smoke, take it outside. don't pass gas. A message from the American Legacy Foundation and the Ad Council. Get the facts at don'tpassgas.org.
You're listening to Michael Savage and the Savage Nation on Talk Radio 560 KSFO.
I can guarantee you that the average city dweller in the United States of America cares more about the bums in the streets of their city than they do about the travel ban or illegal immigrants or Muslims or terrorism. Because the bums, for example, in New York City, the bums in San Francisco, the bums in whatever the city may be, Los Angeles, affect people every day. And I don't mean the people who live in the towers and ride in bulletproof limousines, the ones who run the city. I'm talking about the average person who gets into a subway car to go to work, or walks in the streets, or rides a bus. Here in San Francisco, it is a disgusting wreck. You will ruin the, whatever automobile you have, you will destroy your automobile if you drive across the city. The streets are broken. Where do the highway funds go? There are federal, state, and local highway funds. Who stole them? Who diverted the funds? You can't ride in a new car without breaking the alignment on your car. I know because I have a new car. I had to bring it in 3 months later for a new line. The streets are broken. They're worse than Malaysia in San Francisco.
Good afternoon, stereo surgeons.
If you're lucky enough.
Every day of the week. I'm assuming you're the original owner. What problems are you experiencing? The item is totally dead. Does the item illuminate? Okay, that means it's dead. Did this happen after an event, like we knocked it off a table or we had a lightning strike? Oh, okay, so it was in storage for 15 years, and to the best of our knowledge, it worked prior to putting it in storage. We took it. And we took it, and then we tried to activate it after 15 years. This was still plugged in during those 15 years, it's just that we never activated it. Okay, and then it's totally dead. Okay, we'll gladly look at it for you, sir. Do you know how to find us? $11.95 Main Street. Monday through Friday, 10 till 6. Saturdays, 10 till 2. Oh, super. You're welcome. Does the item illuminate?
Tissue. Fine, we're a rich society, I know. If we didn't give so much money to the fill-in-the-blank, the military, or those evil fill-in-the-blank corporations didn't take so much money. Who you mean, like Facebook and Google, which are monopolies and don't pay their fair share of taxes? Why don't you aim at them? Why don't you aim your ire at them? Why? Because they bought you off. They probably had you over to their headquarters to figure out how much they sympathize with you as the man who runs the homeless services in San Francisco and threw you a check. If they paid their fair share, there'd be more than enough money to take care of all these people, social services, etc. But that's not the issue. Homelessness is a misnomer. There's no such thing as homelessness. It's not correct. It's not a correct word. It's a word of the left. The correct word is bum. Bum, vagrant. There used to be vagrancy laws in America. Could you believe there was a time in America that if a bum slept on a bench in Central Park, took up the bench that was put there for hardworking citizens or retirees to sit and enjoy Central Park, a cop came along with a nightstick and tapped him on the shoe and made the bum get up in the morning and move on. He didn't let him lay there on newspaper taking up the whole bench and then walk into a bush like an animal to relieve himself. Nobody would have put up with them. That kind of thing. The cop tapped the bum on the foot. The bum knew to move on, or else he would have been given a shellacking, thrown into a paddy wagon, and put into a police station, and God knows what happened to him then. But it usually encouraged them to go get a job, like as a what? Dishwasher, Does anyone really want to wash dishes? No, but people wash dishes when they're desperate and they have to. I once washed dishes when I was 14 years old because I lost money in a card game. I was afraid to go home. I lost all the money I had in a neighborhood card game. So I went to work in a luncheonette. I didn't mind. I was glad that the guy gave me the job. He felt bad for me. It was street corner up there. He says, all right, Michael, here's the thing. Put your hands in there. I had dishwater up the way. Whatever. I worked till midnight. I don't know what I made, a few bucks.
Does the item illuminate?
My father called the police. He didn't know where I was. He came in white-faced. He didn't know where I was. Once he saw it, this is a funny story. He called the cops. They didn't know where I was. Something happened. And somehow he got the word I was working in the candy store up on the corner there on Union Turnpike. And he came in and he looked over the counter and didn't say one word other than, I understand. You're working. To him, work was sacred. That was enough. That explained everything. I didn't have to say a word to him. He didn't ask me why I was washing dishes. He didn't ask me why didn't I call him. He just knew I was working. That was good enough for him. Because there's a dignity of work. And that dignity of work has to be taught to the bums in the streets of our cities. But it has to be taught to the bums in Congress. It has to be taught to the bums in the mayor's offices. It has to be taught to all the bums who steal our hard-earned taxpayer money and do whatever they want with it. That's what has to be done. And so this is the show now for you to call if you've been assaulted by a bum or you can't use your house because of a bum. And I want the progressives of our cities to call because they got nowhere to turn. No one will listen to them. I just got an email that 3 police units are being closed down in Sonoma County, California. You know, that's the wine country. Sonoma County is cutting the narcotics, gang crimes, and community-oriented policing units in order to put that money towards services for the bums. And do you know why they're doing it? Because they had town hall meetings with illegal aliens to ask illegal aliens how they wanted the city money spent. I'm not making any of this up. This is what happens when you let liberalism run wild. So I'm talking with you today about a really big problem that's not being discussed by anybody in the media. No one will touch it. When is the last time you heard any discussion about the bums in America on any radio show or any television show in this country? Not for a long time. Do you know why? I'll tell you why. Because for 8 years, the Messiah was running America. Remember that guy, the Messiah, the one who hated millionaires and billionaires, and then the minute he retired, became a millionaire and billionaire by hanging around with them, flying on their jets, being on Necker Island, wrestling with the owner of Necker Island in a headlock. That was weird. Where was Michelle? But the point is, he actually is leading a lifestyle of a millionaire and billionaire. They took a $70 million book advance, him and the wife, because he's for the poor. Are you kidding? Homelessness, if you want to call it that, skyrocketed during 8 years of the Messiah's reign. Did you know that? That's what liberalism has done. They tell you one thing and they do another. Now, if you want to be blind to it, go ahead, go buy a house in Noe Valley in San Francisco and think you're going to live in paradise. Go buy a little house in the Mission District after saving all your money and see what a beautiful lifestyle you're going to have when you can't go in or out of your house, when your mail is stolen, when a man masturbates in your doorway or defecates in your doorway. I'm sorry to make it so graphic, but that's what's required for America to understand what's going on. I've had it with San Francisco. I'm very close to never going over that bridge again. I'm very close to leaving my apartment. I cannot take it anymore. You can't believe it unless you actually live around it. The open drug use, the filth, the risk to our health in every park, in almost every street of the city. It's out of control. And what do the so-called leaders of the city do? Nothing. They ride around immune to it all because they're never confronted by it. You know how much money is involved? Billions of dollars. Billions of dollars.
Does the item illuminate? If you can answer the
goes
question.
into the hands of the middle girls, the middle women, and the middle men in between the bums. So I'm going to open it up to a caller on the show right now. WABC, Alex, tell us your bum horror story.
That is unsatisfactory.
Home 2 weeks ago, and with my girlfriend, we had groceries. You know, we live in Chelsea, New York City, nice neighborhood. I don't know. And walking home, I noticed a man looking down, pleasuring himself on our doorstep. And there's a school, you know, 2 blocks away, and there's school children around. I call the police, 911. 5 minutes goes by, I call them back. 15 minutes later, police show up. They go talk to the man. Don't put him in handcuffs. Don't do anything. They talk to him. He's still laying down, exposed. And then they eventually get him to stand up. And they said that they were not going to arrest him. So I pleaded with them to please arrest him because it's that so ridiculous. And eventually they did. But I had to plead for them just to arrest the man.
And where do you live in the Chelsea district of New York City, a very expensive, beautiful area?
That's correct. It was. But it's gotten progressively worse in the past.
Oh, wait a minute. It used to be marginal, then it became yuppified. What happened? It's gone downhill under de Blasio? Is that what you're saying?
I've been in the city for over 10 years, and it's gone downhill in the past year. It's just plummeted to stuff. And
do you know how much money cities spend on services for these bums? Between jail, support services, ERs, housing, and they do get housing money, sheriffs, homeless services, food stamps, general relief, paramedics, public health, mental health, hospital services. Ask the nurses what they have to put up with. Think about how much it costs per year. Are you ready for the amount? I have the answer for you for one small city. One small city, San Francisco, spends $45,000 a year for each bum in the streets. Do you know that? Now, how much money of that money goes to the people who provide the services? The businesses that have been created to cater to the bums. There are many businesses that live off the bums, and that's why they keep the bums in the streets. You know that. Okay, well, if anyone else has a better solution than I do, I'm open for it. We're trying to solve problems here. I'm trying to organize America's first radio town hall on the bum problem. I want creative solutions for solving the bum homeless problem in America. I'd like you to sign up by calling up 855-400-SAVAGE. I'm not just complaining. I've given you a solution, and I'll give it to you again. Tell me what's wrong with the solution. Put aside the ACLU for a minute, because we can deal with them. They're nothing but a bunch of sick lawyers. So here's the problem, the bums. What's the solution? There used to be vagrancy laws in America. Whoever said vagrancy laws are illegal? The ACLU. They said that a bum has the right to defecate in the street, urinate in the street, exhibit himself in the street. A bum has the right to live in the street. That's not true. They made up the law out of whole cloth. They said it's their First Amendment right or whatever it is, the right to free assembly. That's wrong. You have no rights when you're not civil. There are rights and there are responsibilities. In order to have rights, you need responsibilities to go with them. I've told you that there are laws on the books about riots. You cannot cross state lines to incite a riot without going to federal prison. The problem is that they have not enforced these laws. They were passed in the 60s because out-of-town agitators, communists from Chicago in that case, were going to smaller cities and agitating riots. Well, in the 60s, laws were passed that made that a federal crime, and they're still on the books. Well, the same exists today on a national, on a local level, and a state level. Okay, so there are laws on the books about vagrancy that can be enforced by the police, and we can put the bums in prison, in work camps rather, along with all of the services that they're needing, put them in one place. It's far more efficient. Give them the housing that they need in a work camp, but they have to work. They cannot just sit around and moan about their problems and get the group therapy and this therapy and that therapy. I go to work every day from 6 in the morning. How about you? Why doesn't it go?
I told you never to ask me for money.
Because we don't
Then you go
require
out
the
and
bum
fucking
to work.
snap at me?
Now let's turn it to the immigration problem. Do you have any idea what these immigrants are doing to this country?
We do.
Don't give me the garbage. They all come here to work. Do you know how many members of their family are on some form of public assistance? Do you know what the average immigrant family costs this country? Don't tell me that it's not true. And don't call me a racist. Because the fact of the matter is money and dollars are clearly to be found. And the amount of money they're stealing from the taxpayer in this country is beyond anything you'll ever imagine. I'll have the answers for you when I return right here in the Savage Nation.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now. 855-400-SAVAGE. 855-400-7282. Savage.
The Savage Nation is sponsored by Swiss America, the only company I trust with my financial future. Call 800-289-2646 or SwissAmerica.com. Dr. Savage here. You all know my passion for living a healthy lifestyle, which includes clean eating, right? And I found this product, Super Beets, and it's really one of the most impressive functional foods I've seen in my career. And it has to do with blood flow, blood Low blood flow. Beets are loaded with dietary nitrates, which convert into nitric oxide in the body. Nitric oxide helps support healthy circulation and healthy blood pressure levels. Super Beets is the easiest way to get these dietary nitrates to specifically help with blood flow and circulation. Super Beets works 3 times faster to give you results you can feel. It tastes great. I use Super Beets. I can feel the energy and stamina it gives me within 20 minutes, and I want you to feel it too. So get a 30-day supply for free. It comes with your first order and is backed by a money-back guarantee.
You've got
Also receive a free book, Beat the Odds, and free nitric oxide indicator strips to actually see the difference for yourself, plus free shipping. Love the results you feel, guaranteed or your money back. Call 800-481-0504. That's 800-481-0504. Or go to savagelovesbeats.com.
Hey, America, we need to have a little talk. We've got more food than we know what to do with in this country, yet 17 million kids in America are struggling with hunger. It makes no sense. Luckily, the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks has volunteers gathering excess food and getting it to hungry kids. They're kind of like food angels. Hey, become a food angel yourself by supporting Feeding America in your local food bank at feedingamerica.org. You can't do it without your help. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ag Council.
Liberty Safes.
Now, Mrs. Johnson, before we close on your mortgage loan, I want to make sure you remember mine.
Hi, you can trust me. I'm African American, just like you.
So, here's the low monthly payments and interest rates we promised, and here's where they triple.
The rest of this stuff is just here to make sure that we get your house when you can't pay us back.
What a lovely house.
Predatory lenders are never this easy to spot. Call us at 866-222-FAIR and protect yourself with the facts. A public service announcement brought to you by the National Fair Housing Alliance and the Ad Council.
Hey, Dr. Phil here. You know, I help people solve difficult problems every day, but one problem has me stuck: childhood hunger. Nearly 16 million children in America struggle. Luckily, the Feeding America network of local food banks collects surplus food, giving hope to hungry children and their families. But they need your help. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
I told you never asked.
You can see rare and beautiful artifacts in a world-class museum, and everything you see will be one of a kind.
You can see rare and beautiful art in a world-class art gallery. Original art is always one of a kind.
Or you could just come to Shreve.
People all over the world know about San Francisco's Shreve and Company.
Unbelievably rare.
Fantastically beautiful.
One of a kind
Is the item aluminum?
In the 1880s, an impossibly rare type of garnet was discovered in Russia.
Garnets are normally red,
but these garnets were green.
So they immediately became a favorite of the Russian royal family.
Magnificent belle époque jewelry was designed in the early 1900s featuring these rare green garnets.
That's the sort of thing you'll find at Shreve.
It's a wonderful place to wander around.
Come and visit us. I'm Ren Shipman, and I'm anxious to shake your hand.
Shreve and Company, 150 Post Street off Union Square.
You'll also find us in Palo Alto.
Perfectly situated in the state from shopping center.
Yep. Fucking yell at me.
Thank you, Wentworth. You know, when it comes to fighting crime, he's never going to
Good
roll over.
afternoon,
He's McGregor's
stereo
crime
surgeon.
dog.
It's in the queue, sir. It's working its way up the list. It hasn't gotten to the bench yet. Maybe 2 to 3 days. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Oh, well, I come to your doghouse for coffee, cake, and a safer neighborhood.
Now you're talking. You can cut down on crime by not just locking the door, but opening up to your neighbors.
Still, a 10-pound bundt cake dropped on a bad guy's foot could help.
It couldn't hurt. And go on to weprevent.org for other tips could help too.
A message from the U.S. Department of Justice, Crime Prevention Coalition of America, the National Crime Prevention Council, and the Ad Council.
You've heard me talk for months about how I have trouble sleeping, right? Pillows would go flat. I would flip-flop all night long, wake up with a sore neck, and always feel like I needed a nap, even though I slept 8 hours. Well, that's all changed once I discovered My Pillow. My Pillow gets me into a deep sleep faster, and I stay there longer. It's not about how much time we spend in bed. It's about how much of that quality sleep we get. My Pillow is manufactured right here in the United States and comes with a 10-year warranty. You can wash and dry My Pillow, and the best part is you get a 60-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Right now, my friends at My Pillow will come up with their best offer ever. Go to mypillow.com or call 800-768-0898 and use promo code SAVAGE to take advantage of 50% off My Pillow's 4-pack special. And now when you order My Pillow, is going to give you free shipping. Go to mypillow.com or call 800-768-0898. Use promo code SAVAGE to get 50% off My Pillow's 4-pack special. Don't delay.
Well, you're lucky you can get fucking raped in that store. I guarantee you, you get right through there.
On Talk Radio 560 KSFO.
Twice I've had people pick fights with me in that store. One guy said, look, pal. His wife said, don't touch him, you're going to jail. And he said, no, he's not. He's going to the hospital or the morgue.
Big business, got very lucky very fast. Who was so lost in his own ego that he's now saying Facebook can play a role that churches and Little League once filled. Meanwhile, telling us we should have open borders, along with George Soros and the other so-called progressives. We should have open borders while he builds high walls around his house in San Francisco. We should take care of the poor while this company avoids taxes to the best of my knowledge in every way they possibly can. They're monopolies. Everyone knows they're a monopoly. Everyone knows that they're too big. And they're too big, and they need to be broken up in order to give other people competent a chance to survive. If you have a homeless or bum problem, I'd like to hear about it. Colorado, KVOR, Colorado Mark, go ahead, make it quick, please.
Dr. Savage, in my judgment, based on what's happening here in Colorado, marijuana and the marijuana movement intimately tied to bums and homelessness. I mean, there is now, we have been flooded with any kind of homeless problem you can name now. That's like very defensive.
Well, I got to go back to 1998 when the so-called medical marijuana initiatives were brought into California and one other state. It was done by George Soros. I argued with the head of the medical marijuana initiative at the time. I said, this is nothing but drug legalization. It's going to cause a societal meltdown. It was George Soros who gave $1 million through a front group to bring marijuana into cities. Right now, it's becoming a national phenomenon. You think marijuana is benign? It is not. It is the most dangerous of all drugs. You ask every drug addict in any rehab facility in America how they started on harder drugs. They all started with marijuana. This is not a ludicrous argument. This is a factual argument. Marijuana is the most dangerous drug in the world because it is an entry-level drug. Now, don't start arguing with me about the medical uses and how good it is. I know all about it. I know all about all the fractions of cannabis. So then you break out the fractions that have medicinal properties, not the fractions that get you high, and you sell them as legitimate drugs. You sell them in pharmacies. You eliminate the THC, use the other components, and you make them medicines, pharmaceuticals. And that's the end of the medical marijuana myth. It also stops the drug use and, of course, the fortunes that are being made without taxation across America. We're talking about the bum problem. Have you been assaulted by a bum in your city? This is the Savage Town Hall on solving the bum problem.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now. 855-400-SAVAGE. 855-400-7282. Savage.
Hey, America, we need to have a little talk. We've got more food than we know what to do with in this country, yet 17 million kids in America are struggling with hunger. Makes no sense. Luckily, the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks has volunteers gathering excess food and getting it to hungry kids. They're kind of like food angels. Hey, become a food angel yourself by supporting Feeding America at your local food bank at feedingamerica.org. We can't do it without your help. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Prefer following orders? Get along with everyone in your life? Here are a few signs starting a business may not be for you. I'm Pat O'Brien with the Business Rockstars Minute. Number one, you prefer following orders. The world is made of followers and leaders. Which one are you? If you're committed to being a comfortable order taker the rest of your life, perhaps entrepreneurship is not for you. Number two, you don't like hard work. Entrepreneurship is about hard work. It's about facing indecision, insecurity, instability, and borderline insanity. Number 3, you get along great with everyone in your life. As it turns out, entrepreneurs aren't the wide-grinning, backslapping, glad-handing socialites they seem to be. Entrepreneurs tend toward the outer fringe of social behavior and cultural norms. So if you're sometimes labeled as a nerd or a geek, don't sweat it. Instead, go do what you were meant to do. Start a business or 2. I'm Pat O'Brien, and this has been the Business Rockstars Minute.
Broadcasting from the San Francisco Bay Area, this is Talk Radio 560 KSFO, San Francisco, Oakland, San Jose, a Helios station.
The fastest signature, fighting fire with tweets. I'm Michael Toscano. Let's pass these bills through the House, through the Senate, and send them to my desk. I will give you the fastest approval, the fastest signature that you have ever seen. President Trump, moments ago, pushing the House to fast action on a pair of new immigration bills, one of which cracks down on sanctuary cities, the other would impose harsher prison sentences on deportees who re-enter the United States. The United States this afternoon blacklisting a Chinese bank that was doing what the Treasury Department calls illicit business with North Korea. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin careful to say the sanctions are not aimed at the Chinese government, but
if we find other activity, we will sanction other entities. Nobody's off limits.
The U.S. trying to ramp up pressure on China to get North Korea to pull back its nuclear program. The Kansas Department of Corrections says some inmates are refusing to return to their cells at the state's maximum security prison, but that no violence or injuries have been reported. Inmates started the action this morning at the prison outside El Dorado. The White House says President Trump's crude tweets this morning about the appearance and intelligence of an MSNBC host is just fighting fire.
Deputy White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders says the president was just hitting back after being attacked mercilessly by the hosts of the MSNBC program.
I don't think that it's a surprise to anybody that he fights fire with fire.
The comments drew criticism from both House leaders.
Obviously, I don't see that as an appropriate comment. I think, look, what we're trying to do around here is improve the tone, the civility of the debate, and this obviously doesn't help do that.
It is so beneath the dignity of the President of the United States.
A sentiment that was echoed by congressional supporters of the president. Bodlander, Capitol Hill.
Well, things are a bit better at the close on Wall Street after serious losses earlier this afternoon. At one point, the Dow was off 250. Looks as though it closed at 168 points lower. The NASDAQ closing about 1.5% down. I'm Michael Toscano.
KSFO traffic is sponsored by Spot Hero. An accident below westbound off-ramp to Bailey Road. That injury accident actually a few hundred feet past the end of the off-ramp. You may want to avoid that Bailey off-ramp for the time being. A crash southbound 101 just north of Lucky Drive. That's a hit and run with no injuries. 580 eastbound at Bayview Avenue. There's a crash. Hitting debris. A chair, a table, and a sofa cushion are blocking the right lanes. A crash on 880 southbound off-ramp to Alvarado Boulevard. That's a solo injury accident. A disabled vehicle, 101 southbound after Ringsdorf Avenue. That disabled vehicle is blocking the HOV lane. 280 northbound past Edgewood Road. 2 center lanes are blocked by a chair. 580 westbound before Airway Boulevard. The center lane is blocked there by a mattress. A disabled vehicle, 680 southbound after Washington Boulevard, has moved to the shoulder. That's close to the fog line. Traffic is sponsored by Spot Hero. And finally, here's a way you can save time. Use Spot Hero anytime you park downtown. First-time users can enter promo code BRIDGE for $10 off. Spot Hero, park smarter. With KSFO traffic, I'm Bo Chase.
Hey, Dr. Phil here. You know, I help people solve difficult problems every day, but one problem has me stuck. Childhood hunger. Nearly 16 million children in America struggle with it. Luckily, the Feeding America network of local food banks collects surplus food, giving hope to hungry children and their families. But they need your help. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
Attention men under the age of 35. You know what really impresses the ladies? When a guy has a few drinks and later gets pulled over for buzz driving. That could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. There goes let's grab dinner and a movie. Oh, I know. You drive more carefully when you're buzzed. You've proven that hundreds of times. A woman admires that kind of confidence. And you practice how to speak if a cop does pull you over. Slowly, clearly, and politely, like, "Good evening, officer." A woman admires that kind of foresight. And what woman doesn't find it adorable that you call it buzzed even though the law calls it drunk? You can kiss $10,000 goodbye, along with any chance of having a girlfriend.
Because nothing says I'm a catch more than a guy who lives in his parents' basement and calls it my
Yes, we do.
place. Buzzed, busted, and broke. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Oh no, I
Message from the
enjoy it.
National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the
Yeah.
Ad Council.
I enjoy it.
2159. Call now.
And we're back.
Okay.
Bob Prescribing, you're on the air.
Hi, Chad. Love the show. Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Alright, that's the installation of the relays, and what we do is we install sockets, which they didn't do during manufacture, but that makes it easier should those relays ever have to be replaced again. But now they're in sockets, the board doesn't even have to be removed.
It's never easy to lose something that's been such a huge part of you, Bob. Where'd the magic go?
Well, I've recently begun taking the stairs more and more instead of the elevator, and then we started seeing less and less of each other. One day, it was just gone.
Small step number 67. Take the stairs instead of the elevator or escalator. It's just one of the many small steps you can take to help you become a healthier, well, you. Get started at www.smallstep.gov and take a small step to get healthy.
Public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Moisture and right temperature. Ah, the perfect invitation for me and my moldy friends to hold a party in your home. Maybe now ruining your carpet, destroying your drywall, damaging the very structure of your house. We may even affect your health.
Don't let mold hold a party at your home. For facts on prevention and treatment, visit www.stopmold.org.
Talk Radio 560 KSFO. From 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. It's the KSFO Morning Show with Brian Sussman and Katie Green. Then from 9 to noon, it's Rush Limbaugh. And to 3, listen to Michael Savage and the Savage Nation. Afternoons 3 to 6, it's Mark Levin. Then it's Sean Hannity, weekdays from 6 to 9 p.m. And Glenn Beck wraps up the day, weeknights 9 to midnight. Talk Radio 560 KSFO.
Oh my. Okay, relays are in.
The Savage Nation
All
contains
four are
adult
working.
language, adult content, psychological nudity.
We're going to wrap
Listener
this up,
discretion is advised.
put it together, and see if it fails in a horizontal position.
And now, America's most exciting radio talk show, The Savage Nation, home of borders, language, culture. And here he is, winner of the National Radio Hall of Fame Award, Michael Savage.
Okay.
Beautiful America, great country. Everyone's on drugs, they're fat, 300 pounders. I don't know. The country's falling apart. Criminals running every city in the country. Do you know how much San Francisco spends on bums? Oh, don't call them homeless to me. Homeless implies they're entitled to a home. No one's entitled to a home. You work for a home. Did you know that? Oh, I know. In communist Russia, everyone was entitled to a home. In communist Cuba, they're entitled to a home. Not the kind of home you would live in. So don't tell me about homeless. That's a construct of the Marxist revolution. City of San Francisco, which has the worst per capita bum problem in America, maybe in the world, spends $250 million a year to solve the problem of the bums in the streets. No one knows where the money goes. I do. They can't track the money, but I can give you some idea where the money goes. There are 8 city departments filled with bureaucrats that oversee 400 contracts to 76 private organizations, most of them so-called nonprofits. Where do you see the salaries they make? That deal with the bum problem. They call themselves homeless services, outreach, this and that. These are all liberal departments, all do-gooders, tripping over themselves to show how good they are. And what's even more interesting to me is that one of the sickest, wackiest supervisors in the city, he is so far to the left that he makes, I don't know, pick your most favorite leftist politician. Now go to the left of him by several degrees, and you'll see...
All right, let's see how it works horizontal.
There's not been a progressive idea that he has not floated. and run with because he's such a good man. But recently he called 911 because it was in his backyard. You see, a homeless man, a bum, was naked from the waist down. His legs were smeared in feces. And the bum was standing near Mr. Peskin's house on the Filbert steps on Telegraph Hill, screaming obscenities and blocking the path of passerbys. We have to assume including the student supervisor. Now, of course, the police can't do their job. The city spends $250 million a year. No one knows where the money goes. Same problem, New York City, LA, Seattle, San Diego, Las Vegas, District of Columbia, Chicago, San Jose, Santa Clara, Boston, Honolulu, Savannah, Santa Ana, Nassau, Suffolk counties, Babylon, Islip, Huntington, New York, St. Petersburg, Clearwater, Largo, Pinellas County, Florida, Santa Rosa, Petaluma, Sonoma County. This is in the wine country. You have no idea what's going on up in the wine country. You have no idea what has happened because of stupid liberalism. I do. It is the biggest problem on it. See, most Americans want a travel ban and they want to be protected. That's true. But they're not affected really by terrorism on a daily basis. What they are affected by on a daily basis is
And he could have done a couple of things. First of all, he could sit down with.
being stolen. The federal, state, and local highway funds are being stolen by God knows who in the cities. Again, I tell you, I went to San Francisco for the day yesterday, a city I normally love. I have a place over there. It's gotten so bad that my car went out of alignment again from driving on a Lombard and Van Ness. Why are the streets so broken? Where'd the money go? Then go back up on the Golden Gate Bridge from San Francisco. I think I've got to do a YouTube on this one. I've been complaining about it long enough. I want you to just drive onto the Golden Gate Bridge, an iconic structure known around the world, from San Francisco, and take a look at the roadway. It's been like this for over 10 years. You'll break an axle going onto that bridge. Where'd the money go? Where does the Golden Gate Bridge Authority hide the money for repairing the roads? Why are the roads broken? Don't tell me there's no money. There's billions of dollars being left. Well, whatever you want to say. But now let's go back to the streets themselves. The average person, I don't care if they're liberal or conservative or this or that, understands that their quality of life is diminished, that they take their life in their hands walking in most districts of San Francisco. At any time, someone can punch you in the chest or stab you or cut your face. If you think I'm making it up, ask the police. Ask the police how many assaults are reported and are not reported in this city. Find out how many people are assaulted directly or indirectly, whether that be assault be a punch, a kick, or assaulted by someone defecating in front of them or exhibiting themselves in front of their wife or daughter. That is an assault, by the way. And the cops cannot report it as an assault because all the city service agencies that live off the bums have told them that they can't report it as a crime. So what are the solutions? This is the Savage Town Hall on solving the bum problem in America. I have a solution. I'm not wringing my hands. There used to be vagrancy laws in America. First of all, you start by reintroducing vagrancy laws in the era of Trump. That's number one. You clean up the cities immediately. You start at the bottom and you work your way right up. So what do you do when you arrest them? You can't put them in the prisons. They'll destroy the prisons. Do you think the average prisoner wants to be around someone who's insane and defecating on themselves? The average prisoner does not want to be around them. Does a prison guard want to be around that? Would you take such a job? No. So you can't put them in there. So where do you put them? Common sense would tell you that any sane society that has armies of bums who are not able to take care of themselves have to take care of them. You have to provide them the services that they need, medical, social, etc. So you build work camps for them outside of cities where the land is cheap, and you forcibly put them in the work camps against the cries of Marvin and the ACLU. And you force them to work in the work camps. I don't care if they bellyache, lights on at 6 in the morning. Go work in the vegetable garden at 7 in the morning. Whatever it requires, you're going to feed yourself, or you're not going to eat that well. You may eat a basic amount of food, but you're not going to get all the goodies that you get if you work in that garden. And you absolutely give them the alcohol rehab treatment, the drug rehab treatment they need, and then you see what happens. You can clean this country up. It'll take a while, but it can be done. Now, of course, I understand that there's an army of lawyers from NYU and Harvard and Galt Law School and Berkeley, etc., who will scream that you're violating the civil rights of the bum. They are wrong. Because in order to have a civil right, you have to have a civil society. They are destroying the civility of the society. They are not civil and they're not living in a society. And so therefore, The society itself has a right to have a civil society, the taxpayer. The tax-paying woman who killed herself to buy a house in one of the districts in the city, whether it be San Francisco's Noe Valley or the Mission District, buys a house, cleans it up, tends the garden, paints, has the house painted, goes to work 12 hours a day, and she comes home to bums who exhibit themselves in the street, or bums who use their stoop as a toilet, or steal their mail, or harass them. You think it isn't happening? Ask the police. Ask the police if you think I'm making it up. So no, you have to clean this problem up, and you have to put the lawyers into the work camps with them. You have to say to the lawyer, look, you're a very good lawyer. I understand you're a red diaper doper baby. You grew up in a communist home in New York, and you think that you now run the country. But guess what? The times, they are changing. Oh, yeah, the times, they are changing, Mark. So what we're going to do for you is this. We want you to use your law degree to the best possible advantage. So we're going to put you in the work camp with the bums against your will. And so that way you can give them the best legal advice possible on site. They don't even have to call you or email you. You could be living with the people that you love so much. And you could be sending emails, and you could plant stories on CNN. You can get Sheepy Blitzer to cover the story about how bad life is in the work camps. You can get all of Jake Tapper to cover it, show how evil the society has become. But you'll be living with the people that you service so well. That's one solution, isn't it? And if you think I'm being facetious, you're wrong. I'm not being facetious. This is a societal issue that has mushroomed to the point of almost no return. Almost no return. Nothing is at a point of no return. Everything can be turned around. I have emails coming into me from listeners in Sonoma County. That's above, if you know San Francisco, then there's Marin County and Sonoma. Someone sent me this email and said it's frustrating that the government actually pays people to go find people eligible for benefits because the eligible people are too lazy to go find benefits for themselves. Last year, the county of Sonoma, taken over by psychopathic liberals, sent bilingual eligibility workers to colleges in the Spanish classes to recruit for more bilingual eligibility workers to go find even more Spanish-speaking illegal aliens to give taxpayer money to. I'm not creating any of this. Check it out if I'm making it up. You want to hear more? This just came in, again, from a corrections facility deputy sheriff in the Bay Area of California. Homeless inmates keep getting disability payments after 30 days of incarceration, in spite of the fact that it's supposed to be cut off. And then if it does get cut off, for example, if a county employee who's good puts a stop to the disability payments, the county pays a welfare worker to hold the recipient's hands and take them over to the Social Security office to get the money reinstated. Wait, it gets even better to show you what liberalism actually does. There's even more. What about the ER workers, the people in these ambulances? Do you know that they have the hardest job in America? Do you know that homeless bums call ambulances every day to take them to the emergency rooms for any little malady that they care to call about? You know that firefighters and paramedics have to go pick them up if they just call them? They make a medical 911 call saying, oh, I have a headache. I woke up, I don't feel good. These poor guys have to come in an ambulance and pick up the trash of society. They have to risk getting hepatitis or AIDS and have to put up with their abuse. They throw feces at the ER workers. What kind of society is this anymore? A society that's evolving, and there is a reason for it. Because liberalism is a mental disorder, and liberalism is the problem. The solution is to solve the problem because the liberals will not solve the problem. And now I want to tell you about an important product. It's the middle of the night. For those of you who work, and you toss and you turn, you're covered in sweat. Now you could run the AC or a fan all night, but who can afford that? Most of you can't. Well, get rid of your heat-trapping mattress and sleep as cool as the other side of the pillow as I do on my Casper mattress. It's really a great mattress. You see, it's 2 high-tech foams, which guarantee you that you will sleep cool, comfortable, and fully supported every night. It comes to you shipping for free in a box that's so small you're not going to believe it even holds a mattress. And Casper does that so you can try it for risk-free for 100 nights in your own home. If you don't love it, they'll come pick it up and refund you every dime. From its breakthrough design and superior quality to its packaging and 100-night in-home trial, it is no longer the Casper was named one of the Fast Company's 50 most innovative brands of 2017. Try your Casper mattress for 100 nights in your home with free shipping and returns. All you got to do is go to Casper.com, use the code SAVAGE if you love me in the show. That's right, use the code SAVAGE, and you're going to get $50 towards the purchase of your mattress. That's Casper.com, code SAVAGE, and get $50 towards the purchase of your mattress. Casper.com, terms and conditions apply. This is the Savage Nation. When I return, I will take your calls on the homeless horror stories in America that will not be told by Sheepy Blitzer and the Seven Dwarfs on CNN, right here on the Savage Nation.
Join the Savage Nation. Call now, 855-400-SAVAGE. You've got mail. 400-7282. Savage.
The Savage Nation is sponsored by Swiss America, the only company I trust with my financial future. Call 800-289-2646 or SwissAmerica.com.
So, what would you do with an extra $500 a month in your budget? $500. This isn't hypothetical, by the way. This is something you may need to think about very soon if you decide to become a member of MediShare. MediShare is a way to pay for your health care, and typically it costs $500 less per month for a family versus other healthcare plans. So seriously, think about this. You could pay off loans, pay down a mortgage, save the money for retirement, donate to charity. That would be a big deal. But you know what? Here's the best thing. MediShare works. It has 250,000 members, and it's growing fast. With MediShare, not only do you save, you don't have to pay for things you don't believe in either, and that is a beautiful thing too. So here's how you can find out more, and you might actually wind up saving even more than $500 a month. So check into it. Here's the number. Call 844-43-BIBLE. That's 844-43-BIBLE. Now available in Montana. Call 844-43-BIBLE.
Hey, America, we need to have roads. We've got more food than we know what to do with in this country, yet 17 million kids in America are struggling with hunger. Makes no sense. Luckily, the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks has volunteers gathering excess food and getting it to hungry kids. They're kind of like food angels. Hey, become a food angel yourself by supporting Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org. You can't do it without your help. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Have you ever thought you'd like to flip houses but didn't know how or where to get the money? Are you ready to be your own boss so you can start living the good life? Hi, I'm Preston Neely. I used to be so broke. I had my electricity turned off 9 times, but I figured out a way to quit my job and find financial freedom in real estate. For a limited time, I want to send you a free copy of my smash hit selling book, How to Get Rich in Real Estate. It shows you how to copy exactly what I did so you can make money from the comfort of your own home without even doing any manual labor. I've already given away 5,000 books and they're going fast. To get one before they're gone, call 1-800-958-9535. Listen, if you're sick and tired of stressing about money, this book could change your life. It's short, fun to read, easy to understand.
The item is still running. What we're going to do is stop this video, upload it to YouTube, and do an overnight test or two. But she's still running.
It's Thursday night. You're grabbing
I'll show you.
Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's
She's.
And there's the photo. All right, everybody, squeeze in. Say cheese.
Oh yeah.
Followed naturally by
See? Let's see if I can zoom in here.
Enough. Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
She's still running.
Then there's the ceremonial night.
Show you what it sounds like. Whoa.
But at the same token, you don't want to have all these replacement guys that you're playing against. You want to have as many future Hall of Famers. I think in '90 I counted like 12 future Hall of Famers that I played against in that game. You know, and that's, to me, that's exciting for my career. I didn't have an elongated 20-year career. I had a 7.5-year career. So when I think back, I'm like, listen, I made an all-star game or two. It was an